Welcome to the Fantasy Audiobook. Marvel. Signing in Kai Daddy at the beginning. Chapter 61. There are still many snipers like Winter Soldier at this time. They are all arranged within a distance of about 200 meters from Wong Kai's apartment. Just to kill Wong Kai and Luna almost simultaneously. After all, according to the information searched by Hydra. Although Wong Kai has Metal Storm and nearly invincible armor. But before he summoned these two, the body is still extremely fragile. One bullet is enough to solve the problem. Sir, all snipers have arrived at the designated location and have locked onto their targets. You can shoot at the same time. The prepared words came from the headset of the Hydra team leader in charge of this operation. The Hydra team leader also picked up the anti-materiel sniper rifle. Calm your mind and aim. At the same time, he whispered, listen to my orders. Count down to 321 and fire and pull the trigger at the same time. The red target outline in the infrared sight is extremely clear. Even if there are other figures inside. But it is not among their attack targets. Prepare. Everyone has their fingers on the trigger. Holding my breath almost simultaneously. The spirit is highly concentrated just for this next shot. 3, 2, 1, open. Where are they? The final order to fire has not yet been issued. The infrared outlines in the eyes of all snipers disappear at the same time. The mission has changed. Retreat quickly. The Hydra squad leader immediately ordered. Everyone put away their equipment extremely quickly. It only takes 1 minute to evacuate from their respective sniper points. But some people can't wait for this minute. Ah! The screams sounded in the earphones within 20 seconds. A Hydra agent held his thigh and howled in pain. The bones have been completely broken. And it was pierced from the inner thigh. The blood flowed uncontrollably. Wong Kai looked at all this with cold eyes. His face was as cold as frost. The golden portal behind him has not yet closed. The other side is in the mirror dimension. Who is this? Why do they want to kill you? Peter asked with a confused look on his face. It was his spider sense that detected murderous intent just now. This allowed Luna to activate the mirror dimension to save everyone. Otherwise, countless assassination bullets will come. Wong Kai himself didn't even know if he could survive. Their shield. Wong Kai gritted his teeth and said. Peter's mouth suddenly opened wide, with disbelief written all over his face. How could this happen? You just saved the world. Nothing is impossible. Shield looks shiny on the surface and protects the safety of the earth, but it has been completely corroded on the inside. Wong Kai did not explain too much. Even if he was told about Hydra's occupation of S.H.I.E.L.D., it would be hard for him to believe it. It's better not to talk about it. Thank you for saving us, Peter. I think Luna and I won't be able to go to school for a while. Wong Kai smiled slightly, but it showed a feeling that shocked Peter. What do you want to do? Murder and arson. Just 4 words, but it made Peter feel like the hairs all over his body stood up. Wong Kai didn't want to interfere too much in the plot. After all, only in this way can more sign-in events occur. But now he has changed his mind. Hydra has shown its murderous intent towards him. This time it was a sniper rifle, and Spider-Man saved his life. But what about next time? Will these crazy fools use missiles or even nuclear bombs to kill themselves? He must not take any risks. I glanced at the Hydra agent who was still screaming. The magic blade in my hand slipped quietly. In the flash of the sword, the man's body and head were separated. Peter was immediately startled. Never had he seen Wong Kai act so decisively. And what I uphold is not to kill people. Now seeing all this, he couldn't help but take a few steps away from Wong Kai. There are $10 million in this card, and the password is. This is my gift to thank you. Wong Kai directly threw out a gold card given by Norman Osborn. Then he walked directly towards the portal behind him. In the mirror dimension, Luna bit her silver teeth and rolled up her sleeves, pretending to be fierce. Brother Kai, this shield is so abominable. We just saved the world. Are they still human? Let's go teach them a lesson. Wong Kai chuckled and touched Luna's head. Okay, I saw that they were unhappy. They just finished cutting down their space carrier, and now they are going to destroy their headquarters. Mission failed, and the news that one person was found to be left behind quickly reached Pierce's ears. This made him very angry about it. It seems impossible to get rid of Wong Kai at the minimum cost. The next step is to arrange for SHIELD agents to formally arrest him. While Pierce was thinking, an extremely large metal mecha suddenly slowly fell outside the office located on the top floor of the Tri-Bend building of the SHIELD headquarters. It is the metal storm driven by Wong Kai. Boom! Wong Kai shattered the floor-to-ceiling glass with one punch. Pierce reacted quickly and hurriedly dodged the knife-like glass shards flying towards him. Then I looked at the metal storm outside the window. His face suddenly became extremely ugly. Who are you? What do you want to do? Even if you know who the person in front of you is. But still trying to delay time. SHIELD headquarters has numerous early warning systems. By now, a special operations team should have come to save him. He only had to hold on for a few minutes. Me, don't you already know? The metal storm flew sideways into the office. The mecha disappeared as soon as the body turned around. Wong Kai switches hero templates. Looking at Pierce, the former director of SHIELD and current leader of Hydra, he smiled coldly. I didn't want you to receive the lunchbox like this. He chose to commit suicide by himself. Then you can't blame him. The magic blade in his hand was condensed and pointed directly at Pierce's head. When Pierce saw this, his pupils shrank and he took 2 steps back. How come the front foot assassination and the back foot assassination are all about him, the person behind the scenes? And you can't just come up and chop him to death. Immediately shouted. Wait a minute. Give me a reason to kill me. And if you kill me, you will be wanted by SHIELD globally. Don't. Phew. The cyan magic blade instantly slashed across Pierce's neck. Blood spurted upward half a meter high like a fountain. I don't need a reason to kill you. Wong Kai turned around and left with an indifferent look on his face. Not sloppy at all. At the same time, he took out a cat bomb in his hand. Without looking, he threw it into the office behind him. Then he jumped from the window. Boom! The cat bomb exploded instantly. The shock wave shattered all the glass on nearly a dozen floors. The shocking roar echoed through the sky. The blazing flame slowly rises. The familiar cat face appeared again. The explosion on the top floor of SHIELD headquarters instantly attracted the attention of countless people. Nick Fury quickly turned on the surveillance camera to see what was going on. As a result, when the metal storm appeared, I knew it was Wong Kai who did this. But this is too fast. He had just stepped back to his office. I haven't had time to contact Coulson yet. Wong Kai has already come to kill him. How did he know it was Pierce who gave the order? Nick Fury suddenly had questions on his face. According to common sense, no matter how you look for it, you should first look for Coulson or him as the director. Wong Kai has never met Pierce. Why did you go to him directly? Before Nick Fury figures it out, right-hand assistant Hill immediately came to his office to report the situation. Sir, the top World Security Council floor was completely blown up. Minister Pierce is dead. Besides, Agent Hill almost gritted his teeth and said, Wong Kai doesn't seem to intend to end it. Nick Fury immediately looked out the window. Sure enough, they saw the metal storm rushing down towards them. And this scene looked very familiar. Is he crazy? Nick Fury's roaring voice is not over yet. The metal storm disappeared directly. What appeared instead was the solemn and holy angel armor. Huge amounts of cyan magic blade clenched in hand. Wong Kai's eyes were sharp. Concentrate all the strength of the body. The red light shines on the blade. The true damage enchantment has been turned on. Like a meteor, it fell rapidly towards the Tri-Bend building below. Malefac. Nick Fury hasn't finished his helpless words yet. Then I saw an extremely huge golden sword energy striking straight down. In an instant, the hearts of countless people will jump into their throats. I want to stop it but I can't. I can only watch helplessly as the tri-curved wing building transforms into a tri-curved wing cake. Split in two by angel landing in the sky. Boom. Earth-shattering and shocking. The terrifying 40-meter golden sword is like a divine weapon descending from heaven, triggering a loud noise that penetrates the clouds and cracks the rocks. After touching the building, it penetrated all the way to the ground before stopping. SHIELD headquarters was opened with a huge crack as wide as one person from the top floor to the underground floor. In the face of this devastation that can only be caused by an earthquake and natural disaster, countless SHIELD agents almost forgot to breathe for a while. Is this something a human being can do? Is that really Angel? Just when countless people are shocked and doubting their lives. But I saw the solemn and holy angel transform into a metal storm mecha again. After soaring into the sky where everyone wants to look up, the golden sword light appears. Another simple and unpretentious knife without any bells and whistles. Boom! The three-winged building was split into 4 parts in an X shape. There is really no difference between it and cake now. Brother Kai, that's it. Luna looked at the SHIELD headquarters that had changed beyond recognition and said, "The anger in my heart has dissipated." She also no longer resents SHIELD. There must be hundreds or thousands of workers in such a large building. Wong Kai struck with 2 swords, not to mention the numerous casualties. There will definitely be people who disappear under the blade. Now that the culprit is dead, Luna doesn't want Wong Kai to continue to destroy things. Good. Wong Kai agreed directly. Walk into the portal with Luna. Leave this big mistake to SHIELD headquarters. Nick Fury and Seal walked out of the office in silence. Soon we came to a gap as wide as one person. This line of sky. Looking up, I feel like a frog in a well. Looking down, it feels like falling straight into an abyss. Gives people a feeling of fear. Sir, what should we do? Agent Xie gritted her teeth and asked. She now wants to launch a nuclear bomb to kill Wong Kai immediately. The SHIELD headquarters was destroyed like this. This has been unimaginable for half a century. This matter will soon spread throughout the United States. Not only will SHIELD's reputation be destroyed, and the beliefs of every SHIELD agent. Rescue the injured first, suppress all problems first, and let me talk to him first. Nick Fury said in a deep voice. We still need to talk. Hill was going to be furious when he heard this. SHIELD never negotiates with its enemies. When have they ever acted like this? Of course, because we were the ones who made the first move. Nick Fury looked angry. He briefly told the story about Pierce. Hilton's face suddenly turned ugly. It turned out that they were unreasonable. But even so, the 2 SHIELD headquarters were destroyed because of him. Is that all? Then what do you want to do? Start a full-scale war. Nick Fury scolded Hill. Those who are barefoot are not afraid of those who wear shoes. Once war is declared, no one in SHIELD will be able to sleep in comfort. Hilton suddenly felt a chill in his heart. I just feel so frustrated. But there is nothing you can do. This is probably, I just like the way you can't beat me and are so angry. The SHIELD headquarters was cut into 4 pieces with 2 knives. And the news that World Security Council Minister Alexander Pierce was killed quickly spread throughout the United States. People are talking about this a lot. The internet is even more noisy. Many people speculated whether SHIELD had committed something outrageous. This will lead to Angel coming to punish you. After all, isn't this wrong number a hint? But some people think that Angel's arrival is a high-tech weapon. Someone is using this weapon to do whatever they want. Because many people have photographed Metal Storm appearing with Angel. But soon this sound was drowned out. Who makes the United States have more religious people? Finally, a visible angel appeared. Countless fanatical believers naturally cannot tolerate slander from others. At a time when the internet is full of quarrels, Wong Kai and Luna came to San Francisco. Dr. Pym was very happy after explaining the SHIELD incident. Well done. These idiots deserve this. However, Hope and Ghost Girl were very worried. Under Wong Kai's behavior, which is almost equivalent to declaring war, there was no way SHIELD would let him go. Are you going back to Kamal Taj to hide out? The ghost woman asked. After she and Hope came out of Kamal Taj, they naturally knew what happened there. The 2 of them originally wanted to become apprentices at the same time. Just draw a circle and you can travel around the world. How convenient is this? But unfortunately, neither of them had any magic talent, so they had to give up. That's not necessary. Wong Kai looked relaxed. His ultimate move against Nick Fury hasn't been released yet. Just say it. Maybe this one-eyed malevolent man would even kneel down and beg for help. My main worry now is that if SHIELD cannot deal with it, we will come to deal with you. The quantum channel has been delayed for a month, and I don't want it to be delayed any longer. Probably not. Does SHIELD know about our relationship? Hope looked doubtful. Ghost Girl and Goliath nodded sharply. Don't underestimate SHIELD. They will definitely know it with their sense of smell. HMPH, if they dare to stop me from rescuing my wife, I will never let them go. Dr. Pym said with a fierce look. Wong Kai and Luna expressed the same sentiments. Quantum Channel has gathered the hope of too many people. They will never allow anyone to interfere. Anyway, you continue to create quantum channels. If anything happens, tell me and I will settle everything. Everyone nodded. You should also be careful. The ghost girl suddenly expressed concern. Then he took out the small medicine bottle that had been used up. Is this green potion still available? I feel the tearing feeling getting closer. Have. Wong Kai took out the big medicine box and gave it to the ghost girl. These 10 bottles will last you 2 months. Thank you, and also thank you for going to hell to save me. The ghost girl said sincerely. Hope curled her lips and snorted softly. Don't forget that he threw us out like javelins. The cold wind in hell made my face stiff for several days. But your golden angel form is really beautiful. Looking at the strange looks in the two women's eyes, Wong Kai raised his eyebrows. Could it be that he planted willow trees unintentionally? But then I shook my head and drove away the distracting thoughts. My parents haven't been resurrected yet. Why are you thinking about these things? You continue to be busy. Also, you two should not go to New York for the time being. Stay in San Francisco for a few days and wait until I settle this matter. As soon as he finished speaking, the cell phone rang. When I opened it, I saw Coulson, who hadn't called for a long time. Wong Kai raised the corners of his mouth. SHIELD finally contacted him. Press the answer button. There was no anger or abuse. There was only Coulson's extremely tired voice. K, Director Fury wants to talk to you. Just in time. I also want to talk to him, but I will decide the address, and only the two of you are allowed to come together. Good. Coulson agreed without any hesitation. So after half an hour, Coulson, Nick Fury, Wong Kai, and Luna met together in the mirror dimension under Stark Tower. This is the mirror dimension created by Luna. Electronic signals cannot be transmitted out and can prevent anyone from eavesdropping. Wong Kai pointed at Luna and said proudly. Luna suddenly smiled and felt a little embarrassed. Nick Fury went straight to the point. Kai, you are in big trouble. That's right. Even if Minister Pierce was at fault first, you killed him and destroyed the SHIELD headquarters like that. In addition, you killed 3 major families and the former president. These crimes are enough for you to be vaporized by nuclear bombs 3 times. Coulson almost said these things through gritted teeth. If it were an ordinary person, he would have died countless times. But Wong Kai is still alive and well now. This makes Coulson feel that the world is really unfair. Wong Kai smiled slightly after hearing Coulson's words. Unexpectedly, he has become a villain who has done so many good things without realizing it. Then what do you want? You can't beat me. Wong Kai's words immediately made the two of them furious. I have never seen such an arrogant person in my whole life. Don't go too far. Excessive. Wong Kai's face turned cold. The words suddenly became extremely cold. If you hadn't assassinated me, would I have gone too far? If Luna hadn't been kidnapped, would I have killed someone? If it weren't for the piles of bones under the castle, would I have overthrown the 3 major families? It's not me who goes too far, it's you. I'm just doing what I have to do. The sound is getting louder and louder. Wong Kai's words left Coulson and Nick Fury speechless. They are indeed unreasonable. Naturally, I don't have an advantage in talking. And Luna also stepped forward to hold Wong Kai's hand. Unexpectedly, Brother Kai would do so many dangerous things for him. For a moment, I was extremely moved. Wong Kai touched Luna's hair and smiled calmly. Immediately after seeing the two people, they didn't speak. Then he snorted coldly and continued. Also, I don't think I am in trouble, but you are the one who is. SHIELD is fully infiltrated by Hydra and you don't even know it. As soon as he finished speaking, Nick Fury and Coulson were both stunned. His face became extremely ugly. But then doubts came to mind. He frowned and asked in a deep voice. What's the meaning? Don't you understand? Then I will tell you the whole incident. After World War II, Hydra seemed to be eliminated, but in fact due to the large number of scientists received by Operation Paperclip, many Hydras were hosted in SHIELD. They used the banner of SHIELD to create panic and chaos, and gain profits from the war and continue to grow. To this day, there is only one joke left in the entire SHIELD. The mainland is maintained by Hydra. And I killed Pierce, who is their leader. As soon as Wong Kai finished speaking, Nick Fury was so angry that he almost stepped forward and beat him. The Pierce you killed was my friend and leader. You can't insult him like that. Really, it's really touching. Wong Kai smiled coldly. I can also tell you clearly that in addition to Pierce, there are also Rumlow from the Special Operations Team, Sitwell, the bald four-eyed guy, John Garrett, the 8th level agent, and so on. By the way, Hydra also brainwashed Captain America's friend Bucky into a killer, nicknamed the Winter Soldier. In addition, he also killed Tony's parents. He took away the super soldier serum that was in the car at the time. If you still don't believe it, underneath Camp Caspian, where Captain America is trained, there is a supercomputer instilled with consciousness by the scientist Arnim Zola of the Red Skull. You only need to go there to know if I am lying. After Wong Kai finished speaking, for a moment, both Nick Fury and Coulson were silent. My mind is constantly making judgments about these shocking secrets. Ultimately, judging from Wong Kai's acting style, the degree of credibility obtained was actually over 70%. This was hard for them to accept for a while. How do you know this? Magic. Originally, Hydra would die with you in a few years, but now that it has taken action against Luna and me, we can only send them to meet God in advance. Wong Kai looked angry. If it weren't for the overwhelming number of people in Hydra, he would have come one by one and killed them all. There was no need to tell them both. Then what do you want to do? Coulson asked in a deep voice. It's very simple. I want to kill these guys who threaten Luna and I's normal life. And, Wong Kai's face condensed. The voice is cold and full of murderous intent. Leave no one behind. What Wong Kai said about leaving no one behind is not just to kill all the Hydras inside S.H.I.E.L.D. Instead, all relevant people, materials, and items will be wiped out. Don't let them leave any trace in this world. Not only must the villain organization Hydra be cremated, and their ashes should be spread. The origin of Hydra in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is quite early. As early as thousands of years ago, the alien force Kree captured a Mayan and conducted Terrigen mutation experiments on him. Since then, the first Inhuman race was born. The face is covered with tentacles called Hive. Later, other Inhumans were afraid of the Hive and exiled him to a distant planet through Kree technology. And the Hive's admirers wanted to bring him back. The organization Hydra was established. The Hydra formed by the Red Skull during World War II was only created following the concepts of previous Hydras and was considered a branch of the Orthodox Hydra. In addition to the Honeycomb branch and the Snake Shield branch, and the Baron Strucker branch in Sokovia, and the Whitehall branch with its obelisk. These 4 branches are the main trunk of Hydra. Destroy them completely. That's the real thing about leaving no one behind. And now, he needs information about these people so that he can come to kill the snake. Wong Kai told Nick Fury and Coulson all the information about Hydra. The faces of the two of them turned dark after hearing this. S.H.I.E.L.D. has always boasted the destruction of the Red Skull and Hydra as their greatest achievement. Unexpectedly, Hydra is not only resurrected now, but also Li Dao Zan replaced the entire S.H.I.E.L.D. It even multiplied into several branches. This made the two of them feel their faces really burning and painful. Just tell me who among the top brass of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not Hydra. Let us both have peace of mind. Nick Fury said with a straight face. At least the Coulson next to him is not Hydra. Otherwise Wong Kai would not have said such words. Hill, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Iron Rider. You go back and step up the investigation. First tell me the hiding places of the several leaders. Don't make me wait too long. After speaking, Wong Kai gave Luna a look. The latter immediately knew how to create a portal to pass through the two of them. Nick Fury and Coulson appeared outside the mirror dimension again. The two looked at each other. They all saw shock and disbelief in each other's eyes. Let's go. The next task is to prove whether what he said is true. The two left quickly. Wong Kai and Luna arrived on the top floor of Stark Tower. After coming out of the mirror dimension, he saw Tony flirting with Pepper. Ahem. Wong Kai coughed lightly. Pepper and Tony immediately spotted the two of them. Hey, long time no see, this must be Luna, she is really beautiful. Little Pepper immediately stepped forward to say hello warmly. And Tony was just as Wong Kai expected. My eyes were wide open. Wong Kai felt very unhappy when he saw it. He snorted again before coming back to his senses. I'm sorry, Did you come here suddenly to seek asylum? Although you look cool when you destroy the three-wing building, you still have to bear a lot of consequences. Tony pointed to the tablet in his hand. The video of the SHIELD headquarters being hacked is being played over and over again. Wong Kai shook his head and stepped forward. He didn't take this matter to heart at all. Pointing to the small arc reactor on Tony's chest. I'm here to see you, Tony. You're in big trouble. When Tony heard this, he was immediately stunned. Looking down at my chest. When Little Pepper heard this, she hurried over and asked concerned questions. Kay, what happened to Tony? If you are poisoned by palladium, you may not survive for a year. If you don't believe it, go get tested yourself. It's a matter of life safety. The two immediately hurried to the Stark laboratory downstairs. Blood toxicity can be measured in just a few minutes. Watching the two people leave, Luna hesitated for a moment and then asked in a low voice. Brother Kai, you know so much about the future, but have you seen our future? Wong Kai naturally didn't know, but he still turned around and smiled softly. I didn't check it out because then there wouldn't be any surprises in the future. But I will guarantee that the future will be as you wish. Luna's eyes suddenly curved into two crescents. I was very happy holding Wong Kai's hand. Less than 3 minutes, Tony and Pepper then returned to the office. Both of them looked very ugly. It has obviously been detected that what Wong Kai said is true. How did you know about the palladium poisoning? Tony looked at Wong Kai sitting on the sofa and asked. Just think of it as magic like prophecy and divination. In addition, palladium poisoning is just a trivial matter, and the real big deal is not this. Wong Kai's face condensed. He motioned for the two of them to sit down first. Next he will have a direct showdown with Tony. Tony, do you know the price of being a hero? Ever since you put on the steel suit, your life has completely changed. Next, Wong Kai told him everything about Tony. Iron Man 2, Avengers 1, Iron Man 3, Avengers 2, Captain America 3. From Tony dragging a nuclear bomb into space, until he and the US team broke up. And because everyone in the Avengers broke up and failed to concentrate their strength, Thanos snapped his fingers. In the end, I had to sacrifice myself to save everyone. But only he did not save himself. I can't even accompany my daughter when she grows up. Tony, you are the savior, this is your big deal. End of spoilers. Both Tony and Pepper fell into silence. If according to his character, hearing this news, he should have been happy and wished that everyone in the world would know and worship him. But now, Tony's face was frighteningly dark. Is this the price of being a hero? If this is true, then my life will be too miserable. Wong Kai shrugged. So that's why he doesn't want to be a hero. These two words seem to have a curse that will cause the death of loved ones around them if they are not careful. At this time, Little Pepper, who was holding Tony's hand tightly, suddenly asked. Kai, this bad future can be changed. How could Pepper, who loved Tony so deeply, tolerate Tony embarking on such a path? I immediately thought of changing this future. Of course, otherwise I'll tell you why. Wong Kai smiled slightly. I'm not here to hit you, Tony. Although Thanos is powerful and possesses an army that roams the universe, he is not invincible, not to mention that it is unpredictable now. Tony's eyes suddenly lit up. Looking at the smile on Wong Kai's face, I knew that he still had something to say. SHIELD is hopeless. Come and form the Avengers to protect the Earth. As long as we gather all our strength in the New York battle and kill Thanos, then there will be no talk of snapping your fingers. The Avengers. Okay. For the happiness of my unborn daughter. I must kill Thanos in advance no matter what. Tony looked determined. You can't see the Playboy's laughing and scolding look at all. And Little Pepper was deeply moved after hearing Tony's words. Unborn daughter. Doesn't this acknowledge their relationship? It's not easy. The secretary finally became a wife. As long as you have such ambition, let's solve your palladium poisoning problem first. Wong Kai took out a small medicine bottle and threw it to Tony. Take this, it can save your life in a critical moment. It would be much easier to take out the shrapnel that's stuck in your heart. Also, you asked Jarvis to bring up the 3-dimensional model of the Stark Expo. Tony took the vial and naturally followed the instructions. Wong Kai did not explicitly mention the new elements. Therefore, he was also very confused at this time. A blue 3D projection suddenly appeared in front of the 4 people. Tony immediately asked, "What do you want this for?" "Want to add a booth to the expo." "You're overthinking it. I'm just acting as my father's substitute teacher." Tony's face suddenly darkened, but I heard Wang Kai continue to say, "This is a valuable legacy left by Mr. Howard to you, which is enough to replace palladium as the core of the arc reactor. Take out all the walkways, bushes, trees, parking lots. Use the pavilion as a framework to form new elements." All kinds of irrelevant things on the charming blue 3D projection began to fragment and disappear. Tony only took one glance and suddenly realized that the rest of the layout was carefully designed. Then under Jarvis's powerful deduction calculations, the blue projections are constantly changing combinations. In less than 5 seconds, a brand new element appeared in the office. "Congratulations, Stark, you just discovered a brand new element." Jarvis's voice appears. Tony's mouth suddenly opened wide. Unexpectedly, his father actually left him something that would be remembered for generations. "Oh my God." Pepper was also amazed when he saw this. "This is so beautiful." Luna was in a state of complete incomprehension. "I just feel that this 3D projection is very shocking and beautiful. This is a new element that can change the world. With it in the arc reactor, you can have unlimited energy. Let the energy wars disappear into history." Wang Kai looked at the 3-meter-tall new element model and showed a satisfied smile. Artificial sun plus new arc reactor. A giant space station like a city is no longer a dream. Changing the world is more than just rhetoric. Ding, it has been detected that the host is located in the place where Iron Man discovered new elements, and the check-in has begun. The countdown to sign in is 4 minutes and 59 seconds. The long-lost system prompt sounded. Wang Kai glanced at his remaining check-in points. It's only 1350 points now. Originally there were 2150 points. However, the skill enhancement points have been refreshed several times in the system mall. He could only buy them all. Improved the immortal demonic body to the current level of 23, class. But unfortunately, no new attributes appeared again. It just became smoother to chop down buildings. "There's something else I need to tell you, Tony." Wang Kai suddenly said to Tony. "It's about the death of your parents." Tony was stunned for a moment. As Wang Kai slowly narrated, his face became darker and darker. "The flame of anger was instantly ignited in my heart. According to our Chinese saying, the hatred for killing your father is irreconcilable. Although Bucky was equally innocent as the knife in Hydra's hand, it was also his mistake. As for how to deal with him, you decide for yourself." Tony's eyes flashed several times in an instant. He has been to the World War II History Museum. Therefore, we also know the relationship between Captain America and Bucky. If you kill Bucky, then the Avengers will inevitably lose a powerful assistant. Out of consideration for the overall situation, Tony still gave up on killing the Winter Soldier. "You're right, it was Hydra that killed my parents, and Bucky is also a poor man. But a beating after you catch him is absolutely necessary." Tony almost said this through gritted teeth, staring at Wang Kai with both eyes. "I have figured it out. You must have slashed the SHIELD headquarters because of Hydra for no reason. Now let's go and destroy them." "Do not worry," Wang Kai said calmly. "Nick Fury and Coulson are already investigating. As long as they catch the smuggler's head, they can tell them where their men are." "Good." After comforting Tony, the next step is to clear out future villains and recruit candidates into the Avengers. "There is no way to fight for the whipcord and I have to give up." But the villain Killian in Iron Man 3 will not appear until 3 years later. They could have avoided this entirely. And it can also contain the extremis virus. "Take the money, Tony," Wang Kai said lightly. "There are few scientists in the world who cannot solve problems with money. You ask Happy to find him and apologize, and then invest 1 billion in him to develop the terminal virus. If 1 billion is not enough, then 2 billion. You should be good at beating him into submission with money." When Tony heard this, he nodded proudly. It's truly one of the things he does best. Then the next step is the Avengers. Tony immediately looked directly at Wang Kai. But without waiting for Tony's invitation, Wang Kai refused in advance. "I'm not suitable to be a superhero. 1 billion. Quote. Your tricks are of no use to me. 2 billion plus a private island." Wang Kai's eyelids suddenly jumped. "This is really worth spending money on. But money is like a cloud to him. He didn't care about the money. Do you think I'm a money-hungry person? Wang Kai spread his hands. But Tony pointed at the cheap casual clothes he was wearing and immediately joked, "It's lacking, and it's very lacking. Look, you don't have any good clothes. The same goes for Luna, don't you want to fill a warehouse with beautiful clothes and shoes?" Tony's eyes sparkled. "Speak extremely seductive words." Wang Kai and Luna looked extremely embarrassed. "Don't think about it, I will never join the Avengers." Wang Kai righteously refused directly. At the same time, the system sounds. Ding, congratulations to the host for successfully signing in at the place where Iron Man discovered new elements. Get 500 check-in points. Ding, it has been detected that the plot of this plane has begun to change significantly. Many sign-in tasks have disappeared, and the next sign-in task prompt will be closed. Ding, all current check-in tasks have been changed to triggered tasks. After listening to the system prompts, Wang Kai couldn't help but feel regretful. The disappearing tasks are all check-in points. But now that he's done it, he doesn't regret it. You can't keep hiding just to check in. Hydra has provoked him. How could Wang Kai swallow this breath without making them all into snake soup? After signing in, Wang Kai left Stark Tower directly. Leave all the recruiting of the Avengers to Tony. According to his inference, War Machine Colonel Rhodes is definitely the first candidate Tony considers. Next is the Hulk, or Dr. Banner. After all, Tony is a big dog. Has unparalleled attraction for scientists. Recruitment should also be considered easy. Hawkeye and Natasha Romanoff are still Serpentine and S.H.I.E.L.D. agents at this time. Captain America is still in the ice. Thor hasn't made a big mistake yet and was banished from Asgard. Everything is still in its infancy. After that, there was a period of great peace. Like the calm before the storm. Norman Osborn was diagnosed with amnesia. "I can't remember who I am at all." So Harry agreed to sue his father and let go of S.H.I.E.L.D. Without sufficient evidence, Norman escaped legal punishment. And Harry had no choice but to drop out of school and go home to inherit the Osborn group. It was almost exactly the same as Tony's situation back then. But fortunately, Dr. Octopus's artificial son is progressing smoothly. It has won a lot of social attention for the Osborn group. The stock didn't fall anymore. Spider-Man Peter continues his journey as a dog licker. He relentlessly pursues the green tea goddess Mary Jane. The heat of the destruction of the S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters gradually cooled down over time. Until a week later, Wang Kai was even impatient. Nick Fury and Coulson then met in an outback safe house. Still in the mirror dimension, Coulson handed over a paper document. After opening it, Wang Kai took a quick look and was very satisfied. It not only records the location of the Blackstone portal, the location of the castle where Baron Strucker is located, and Whitehall's lair, even the location of John Garrett, the acute eyes who was on a mission, was clearly marked. Although Pierce is dead, the Hydra lurking inside S.H.I.E.L.D. has not made any big moves. Coulson said in a deep voice. "It's very difficult to clearly distinguish who is Hydra. It doesn't matter, I can catch these snake heads first. You should have something like Veritaserum." Wang Kai smiled flatly. Veritaserum is enough to deal with most people. There are not many top agents that can resist this drug. Nick Fury nodded. "They are very good at interrogating. You go and capture everyone alive, and leave the rest to us." "No problem." Wang Kai smiled slightly, but then came the conditions. "I can't work in vain. After Hydra is finished, let me study the Tesseract." Nick Fury suddenly looked at Wang Kai with a strange look. "I was just about to ask you how you know everything." Wang Kai's words made him feel relieved. "This can be under your supervision. Don't worry, I won't rob it." After a moment of silence, "Consider the gains and losses." Nick Fury agreed. As soon as the scene changed, Wang Kai and Luna arrived in Sokovia. This is a small, landlocked country in turmoil. After the end of World War II, the remnants of Hydra have hidden themselves in the country and established secret bases. Baron Strucker is the leader of Hydra. "It's so cold here." Luna opened her mouth and spit out a breath of mist, showing the extremely low temperature here. The two of them were at the foot of a hillside at this time. You can see the gray castle built against the mountain right in front of you, surrounded by steep mountain walls. The only road to the gray castle leads down into the icy jungle below. It is obviously a good place that is easy to defend but difficult to attack. Put on mine first. Wang Kai smiled softly and took off his casual top. After putting it on Luna, she looked at the castle. Resist the desire to end it with a knife. Turn on invisibility and prepare to infiltrate. Luna also used magic to hide her figure. The two held each other's hands tightly as if they were visiting a castle, and walked into Hydra's base from the main entrance. About 10 minutes later, they found a man with thinning hair. A noble man wearing a monocle. Exactly the same as in the photo. Wang Kai looked at Baron Strucker carefully handling the documents on his desk and smiled coldly. Suddenly shouted at him, "Long live Hydra!" Baron Strucker stood up almost instinctively. Very soon. Raise your hands upward quickly. But the moment the sound came out, his mouth was tightly closed. Who? Baron Strucker was shocked. The voice clearly appeared from in front of me. But I couldn't find anyone in the office. That's you, that's right. Wang Kai slashed Baron Strucker in the back of the head with a knife. The latter fainted at the sound. At the same time, Luna opened the portal. Send Baron Strucker directly into the safe house where Coulson and the others are. Don't look at what's going to happen next. Just avoid it for now and wait for me outside. Wang Kai appeared and said softly. Luna hesitated for a moment before nodding and leaving. Since he is the person that Brother Kai wants to kill. That must be the person. Seeing Luna leaving, Wang Kai's eyes gradually became colder. The solemn and sacred angel armor reappears. Handheld huge amounts of cyan magic blade. The office door was split open with one knife. Boom. The pure wooden door shattered instantly. Huge amounts of sound soon attracted a dozen Hydra soldiers. Wang Kai slowly walked out of the office. The Hydra soldiers who came from the corridor were stunned on the spot. Go back underground. Wang Kai leaned forward. Kick your feet hard to unleash maximum power. It instantly turned into a blue lightning and passed through more than a dozen Hydra soldiers. Phew. In an instant, all the Hydra soldiers were separated from their heads. The blood dyed the corridor scarlet like a red fountain. The strong smell of blood makes people nauseous. And Wang Kai turned his back to Shira in a hellish scene. Without looking, he continued walking out. Hydra has a famous saying. Cut off one head and two new ones will grow. Wang Kai wanted to see if this was really the case. But unfortunately, until he sends everyone in the Hydra base to hell. I have never seen this magical ability. Outside the Grey Castle, Wang Kai placed huge amounts of the magic blade horizontally in front of him. The eyes are as calm as still water. Not a single wave can be seen. But holding the magic blade tightly, the explosive force slashed out a golden crescent hundreds of meters wide. Phew. The golden crescent moon passed through instantly without any hindrance. After cutting through the castle, he flew to the mountain peak 100 meters away. Then it crashed onto it. In an instant, the explosion echoed through the sky. Thick smoke and gravel shot out. The scene is like a volcano erupting. After the smoke dissipated, Stone Mountain was actually lowered by more than 10 meters. And huge amounts of Grey Castle were cut in two with one sword. The upper half was smashed to pieces on the ground, although the lower half remains standing. But Wang Kai took out the cat bomb directly. Boom. Throw 2 cat bombs in a row. Completely destroy the remaining half of the castle. Wang Kai then left calmly with Luna. Inside the safe house, Baron Strucker woke up slowly. As a result, when I opened my eyes, I saw the extremely dark big braised egg. As an important backbone of Hydra, how could he not know who this person is? After being stunned for a few seconds, I wanted to stand up. But he found that his hands and feet had been tied to the interrogation chair. So he pretended to be panicked and said to Nick Fury, "If you want money, I can pay you. We have no grievances and we really don't deserve this." Baron Strucker just finished speaking. Wang Kai then came over and said. Without saying anything, he cut off half of his palm with a knife in the blink of an eye. "Isn't it already there?" Wang Kai said coldly. Nick Fury suddenly looked ugly. It's such a loss to go for the big move without asking anything. He immediately pointed outside and pretended to be angry. "Go out." Wang Kai shrugged and didn't care. One has a red face and the other has a white face. He's already done the role of the bad guy. Now it's up to Nick Fury and the others to pry out all the information. Leave the safe house and wait outside. Time flew by while chatting with Luna. Half an hour later, Coulson walked out with a solemn expression. This Baron Strucker is really hard to describe. The truth serum was useless, so I vomited it all out like beans poured out of a bamboo tube. Assistant Dr. List, Senior Officer Dean Malik, and the closely connected Whitehall Hydra branch, etc. Everything was explained clearly. I just want Nick Fury to throw him into jail through formal procedures and live a lifeless life. He is truly a first-rate softy and a wallflower. I really don't know how this guy became one of the leaders of Hydra. The interrogation is over, you can go in. Okay. Wong Kai walked into the safe house with a smile. At this time Baron Strucker was still crying bitterly. After seeing Wong Kai, he struggled wildly as if he had seen a ghost. Nick Fury, we agreed to spare my life. I really want to keep you alive as a tool to fight Hydra, but it's a pity that this guy is unwilling. Phew, the dazzling sword light flashed. Baron Strucker was split in half with a knife. It was much worse than being killed by Ultron in the original plot. Nick Fury looked at the corpse using the duplication technique with a straight face and couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Pierce's self-righteousness is whimsical. But the entire Hydra will be destroyed by this young man. This is probably the fate of Hydra. Next up is Whitehall. Wong Kai turned around and left with a face as cold as frost. Daniel Whitehall, Hydra branch leader. At the end of World War II, he was captured by the Howling Commandos led by Captain America's lover Peggy Carter. And he spent more than 40 years in the rat prison. It wasn't until Pierce came on stage that he was rescued from his old age. Later, the alien Jiang, who had the ability to live forever, was brutally vivisected. Transferred all the other party's body tissues to himself. Since then, I have returned to youth. And I have a strong interest in Superman, such as the Inhumans. Trying to use the obelisk to create a Superman class to rule the world. This triggered the plot of the S.H.I.E.L.D. Agent series. And his ideas were passed on to Baron Strucker. Hence the birth of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. As for now, at this time, he was still studying how to take the obelisk back in his lair. Inside a heavily guarded luxury villa in New Mexico, Whitehall, who looked to be in his 30s, summoned his two right-hand men. Sunil Bakshi and Carl Creel. The latter is the famous absorber. By changing the molecular structure of the body to imitate any material he comes into contact with. Absorbed vibranium in the comics to become indestructible. He also absorbed Thor's hammer to gain the ability to control thunder and lightning. Thor's hammer in human form. But it was also because of this that he was easily manipulated and defeated by Thor. S.H.I.E.L.D. is currently busy dealing with the murder of Pierce and the destruction of the headquarters. This is the best time to take back my obelisk from their base. Whitehall looked excited. He has been waiting for half his life to retake the obelisk. And now is the perfect time. Just as he was carefully assigning tasks to the two of them. Suddenly there was a loud bang. The office door actually shattered. Broken wooden slats with sharp spikes flew towards them like spears. The absorber immediately stepped forward and opened his arms. His whole body turned into gray concrete, blocking Whitehall like a wall. Click, click, click. The sharp spikes on the wooden bars broke off without any surprise when they hit the absorber. Assistant Sunil took out his pistol and looked alert. But Whitehall just frowned slightly. His face was extremely calm. Silently waiting for the intruder to appear. They are all here, it really saves me a lot of time. Wong Kai came in from the corridor with a faint smile on his face. Luna followed invisibly, always ready to take Whitehall away. Who are you? Whitehall asked in a deep voice. He has so many enemies. After much deliberation, I had no impression of the young man in front of me. I am Typhon, the 100-headed dragon. Wong Kai smiled and said. The 100-headed dragon Typhon is the father of the mythical Hydra. Whitehall was suddenly shocked. Doesn't this mean that the other party already knows their Hydra identity? Shout to the absorber immediately. Kill him. The absorber immediately rushed towards Wong Kai. He clenched his concrete fist, pointed it at Wong Kai's head, and hit it directly. In the changed state, his strength has also been improved simultaneously. This punch is enough to make an ordinary person's head explode like a watermelon. But unfortunately, what he met was a cheating handsome guy. Paw! The concrete fist was caught by Wong Kai. The absorber's face suddenly changed. I just wanted to pull my fist back but it was too late. Wong Kai tightened his fingers suddenly. The force exerted on the absorbing fist is also getting larger and larger. After taking a breath, I only heard a bang. The hard concrete fist was cut into pieces by force. Just like a cookie. But this move attracts people to escape. Sunil acted decisively and continuously pulled the trigger on Wang Kai's head. Several bullets were pushed out of the gun chamber by the huge kinetic energy generated after being burned by the gunpowder. Make an astonishing loud noise. Spit out hot tongues of fire. Get into Wang Kai's head with Sunil's expectations. Bang bang bang. The sound of gunfire has not dissipated yet. The figure has disappeared. The bullet that hit Wang Kai turned out to be just an afterimage in his field of vision. A blue magic blade is getting closer and closer in my eyes. I only saw the flash of the sword. Sunil then split up and escaped from the world. Not giving Whitehall time to speak, Wang Kai knocked him unconscious again. Lift the leader of the Hydra branch with one hand and throw it back. A portal with golden sparks appeared in time and put Whitehall inside. Wang Kai then looked at the absorber. Come on, absorb this and fight me. The broken palm of the absorbed person was quickly restored. But when he turned around and saw Wang Kai's appearance, he was stunned on the spot. The immortal demonic body activates. The solemn angel armor appears. Wang Kai pointed at the armor on his body and raised his fingers provocatively at the absorber. Can't you turn into the material you touch? Come and absorb Angel's armor and fight with me. The absorber's pupils shrank when he saw this. What this armor looks like. Isn't it Angel who killed the hatred with one knife? Cut a solid castle in half. Use the three-winged building as a vegetable. What a fart. What do you want to do? Absorbing fear in people's hearts. He took a few steps back and came to the bookshelf and touched the iron on it. Transforming his whole body into stronger steel calmed him down a little. I'm not doing anything, it's just that I'm too strong and it's really annoying. So you come and become stronger and become my opponent. Wang Kai's voice came from inside Angel's armor. He absorbs people but runs away before the words are spoken. But I haven't taken 2 steps yet. A blade of light instantly cut through the absorber's arm. Just hear a soft stab. The steel was cut straight through. Boom. The absorbing arm fell to the ground with a dull sound. And the fracture is extremely smooth. You want to leave without killing me? Wang Kai raised his right foot and waved it like a whip. Then he threw it towards the absorber. Snapped. The air exploded instantly. The sound is like a cannonball exploding. Absorbing people feel like they have been hit by a high-speed train. It smashed through more than 10 walls from inside the villa before falling outside. At this time, the Hydra agents in the villa finally rushed over to check the situation. Everyone holds a gun. After seeing Wang Kai, they felt guilty and pulled the trigger. Deadly bullets were fired at Wang Kai like a hailstorm. But he is no longer even qualified to perform gua sha. Return to the dust of history. Wang Kai took out a cat bomb in each hand, giving endless light and heat to the hydras in the villa. Boom! An earth-shattering explosion exploded in the villa. The entire villa was instantly destroyed into countless building fragments. Countless bricks and stones were thrown into the sky by the cat-faced flames. Like a cat-faced flame, it happily throws ribbons to celebrate its arrival. Wang Kai slowly walked out of the blazing flames. The dumbfounded absorber looked into the distance and smiled coldly. The wind at his feet arrived in front of the absorber in just one breath. Don't you want to give such power a try? Otherwise I will kill you. Wang Kai raised huge amounts of cyan magic blade and placed it on the absorbing iron head. The latter was immediately frightened and stepped forward, grabbed the armor on Wang Kai's calf and began to assimilate it. I saw the material that absorbed the person's whole body and quickly turned it into white armor. The rapid and panicked breathing calmed down. Release your hands and slowly get up from the ground. The whole body actually shone with a hint of holiness. Upon seeing this, Wang Kai quickly jumped back, eyes shining with excitement. He hasn't cut off the armor on his body yet. I wonder how much defense this pirated version has. Holding the cyan magic blade high in both hands, the red light flashes on the blade. Start 3 consecutive runs of Sprint, Fury, and Wind Spirit emblem. Wang Kai planned to use his strongest blow to thank the absorber in front of him. The burst of power under his feet instantly turned into a blue lightning. But when the blade was about to make contact, it suddenly stopped. What's going on? Absorbing people motionless. The white armored skin all over his body began to shatter inch by inch. There was a constant clicking sound, exposing gaps shining with golden light. And as the golden light becomes stronger and stronger, the absorbing human skin finally withstands this force. Bang! A ball of golden light suddenly exploded in front of Wang Kai. The absorber died directly from the material absorbed. Died in an explosion on the spot. Ding! Congratulations to the host for killing the villain absorber and getting 100 check-in points. The sound of the system came. Wang Kai was very strange. Regardless of whether the absorbing person can withstand the power of the system, or the power of the immortal demon body makes sense. But why didn't he get signing points for killing Pierce or Baron Strucker? And this guy got, aren't they villains? Immediately ask the system in your mind. The answer he got left him speechless. Only the strong can be called villains, and hot chickens are just hot chickens after all. There doesn't seem to be anything wrong with that. Take another look at the current check-in point. It's already 1950 o'clock. There are only 50 points left to draw 10 consecutive draws. You have to find a place to re-sign, otherwise it will always look awkward. I complained in my heart. Wang Kai returned to Nick Fury's safe house. He is truly the best agent Pierce has ever seen. Whitehall was tied to the interrogation chair but did not panic at all. Watching Nick Fury admire him very much. Being able to find Hydra, which has been invisible for half a century, speaks volumes about your ability. What do you want from me? All. Nick Fury stared at Whitehall and said, I want to know the list of all Hydra personnel in S.H.I.E.L.D. Whitehall laughed immediately when he heard this. Even Pierce doesn't fully understand this kind of thing. You are wasting your efforts. Also, even if you kill me, don't forget that sentence. If you cut off one head, 2 new ones will grow, right? Wang Kai suddenly appeared and sneered. That's all because your previous opponents were too kind, which led to such things being cut off without eradicating the roots. Now I will never let history repeat itself. After listening to Wang Kai's cold and murderous words, Whitehall laughed again. The idea of Hydra can never be eliminated. Its history is longer than you think. If you can't eliminate thoughts, then eliminate the carrier of thoughts. Cold words came into Whitehall's mind again. Without waiting for him to continue to refute, Wang Kai told this self-righteous guy the complete history of Hydra. Whitehall's expression gradually changed from dull to astonished. And it ends up being unbelievable. Hive, aliens. The original intention of establishing Hydra was just to meet a monster that would destroy all mankind. The goal of all villains must be to achieve themselves. Except for those crazy people who want the world to burn. And Whitehall is obviously not crazy. What he hopes is to use the Superman class to help Hydra unify the world. We will never let the Hive turn all humans around the world into mindless monsters. Do you think I will believe these lies? Whitehall shouted angrily. It doesn't matter, I just want you to die more clearly. As soon as Wang Kai finished speaking, Coulson injected Whitehall with a large dose of truth serum. Even if you don't become an idiot after using these drugs, also suffer severe brain damage. Whitehall, who was already in a state of emotional instability, could not withstand the subsequent interrogation. Very smoothly, he was killed by Wang Kai after the end, eventually leading to the demise of the Whitehall Hydra branch. At this time, it was less than an hour since Wang Kai first took Baron Strucker away. Most Hydras don't know yet that they are in danger. Except Acute Eyes John Garrett. He was originally a loyal agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. But because he was abandoned by S.H.I.E.L.D. during a certain mission, he was seriously injured and almost died. Since then he has joined Hydra. Although he looks over 50 years old. But John doesn't have any super abilities. On the contrary, he can be said to be in a state of half-death. Because he was injured in that mission, he had to undergo the transformation of a death warrior. Steel plates and life support systems were implanted in the body. But even so, we can only survive. Therefore, in terms of combat effectiveness, it can be said to be that of an ordinary person. But also because of this, he became extremely sensitive to danger. Almost immediately after the Sokovia Castle was destroyed, we knew something big was going to happen to Hydra. And it is judged that the probability of Hydra's demise this time is more than 50%. So John, who only cared about his own life and death, immediately made a bold decision. Coulson, I have something important to talk to you about. John dialed Coulson's phone number, trying to become a tainted witness. He immediately changed his identity in the hope that S.H.I.E.L.D., which hides countless secrets, could save his life. After all, he doesn't have much time left. If you don't find a way to save yourself, you will die within 2 years. Inside the safe house, Wong Kai's eyelids jumped as he looked at a cute who came to the door. John Garrett, the villain in the first S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, actually surrendered. How did you know Hydra was going to die? It's just intuition. Besides, I'm not loyal to Hydra. I just want to survive. John said sincerely. Wong Kai thought about it and understood. This is a person with a strong desire to survive. He will not be loyal to any force. He is a guy who only lives for himself. And facing this kind of guy, just get what they want and you can make them do anything. This is a magic potion that can theoretically cure any injury. Wong Kai threw the small medicine bottle directly to John. The latter looked at it carefully and swallowed the green potion inside. As a result, after a while, his face flushed and he began to tremble all over. He fell to the floor like an epilepsy. How is this going? Nick Fury frowned and asked. Kay, did you give me the wrong potion? Coulson was also shocked. He hurried forward to check on John's condition. The two of them are old acquaintances. We have performed many missions together. No, I'm fine. John waved his hand. His body finally stopped shaking. He lay on the ground and breathed a long sigh of relief, and then he jumped up like a carp. I feel great. It's like I'm back when I was young. John clenched his fists. Power pours out continuously. The previous feeling of inadequacy has disappeared. The magic potion seemed to cure him instantly. Thank you very much. If you have anything to ask, just ask. John opened his hands and felt that he had reached the climax of his life. Tell me everything you know about Hydra. Nick Fury stared at John and said. As long as the person in front of me dares to play tricks. He didn't mind letting John experience ups and downs. Absolutely no problem. With a relaxed expression, John confessed everything that happened after he joined Hydra. Basically, they are all middle and low-level Hydra agents. And every time John named a person, Nick Fury and Coulson's faces turned dark. Others may not know what this means, but they know very well. S.H.I.E.L.D. really has only one layer of skin left, as Wong Kai said. At least 8 people have been brainwashed into becoming Hydra warriors. Now even if they wipe out all the Hydras, S.H.I.E.L.D. will also shrink by 3/4. It is possible to fall into complete ruin. But this is the baptism that S.H.I.E.L.D. must go through. Only in this way can we rise from the ashes. Now all that's left is the Hive and Hydra within S.H.I.E.L.D. How do you want to do it? Coulson looked at Wong Kai and asked. Destroy the Blackstone portal. The Hive is far away in space. It will take at least decades to starve him to death. Let's cut off his escape route first. As for the others, I will arrest Sitwell and Rumlow first. Wong Kai pulled up to Luna and left immediately. The golden portal appears. And on the other side is the deck of an aircraft carrier. The two of them passed through invisibly at the same time. Didn't attract anyone's attention. It's incredible. Is Hydra going to be destroyed because of this boy? John Garrett asked in amazement after seeing the portal. Your intuition is really accurate. Coulson nodded and sighed. Nick Fury corrected. To be precise, it's the two of them. Also, don't think that it's over when Hydra is dead. The difficulties S.H.I.E.L.D. will encounter next are even more serious than this. Nick Fury feels heavy. After this battle, we must find a way to stabilize the situation of S.H.I.E.L.D. And it's not easy. Aircraft carrier interior. Wong Kai and Luna are moving all the way down. This is also considered one of the layers of Hydra. Under the jurisdiction of S.H.I.E.L.D. Every once in a while, Hydra will go through the Blackstone portal to find the Hive. It has been going on for thousands of years. But in reality, they just keep delivering food to Hive. This allows the Hive to eat a meal every few decades to keep it from starving to death. Silent all the way, the two quickly followed the route Coulson gave and arrived at a research room. There are all kinds of dazzling high-tech testing instruments here. And there is a glass room in the middle. There is an irregular black boulder standing inside. Every once in a while, it will turn into liquid and swallow any life that comes close. Send it to that distant planet. This is it. Wong Kai asked Luna to hide in the mirror dimension. And he changes the hero template. Zhang Kui, who is 3.5 meters tall, appears. Huge amounts of body shape instantly triggered the alarm system in the scientific research room. The lights inside also turned into red warning lights that kept flashing. But Wong Kai didn't care about this. Come to the glass house and punch it down. The glass shattered with a bang. Then Wong Kai immediately started reincarnation devouring. The armor opens to the sides, revealing the inner blue vortex. A terrifying suction force appeared instantly. In an instant, a blue storm appeared in front of Wong Kai, constantly swallowing everything in front of you. The black stone portal was gradually pulled by the terrifying suction force. Began to shake. Then suddenly it turned into a puddle of liquid. It seems that he wants to struggle. But like weightless water, it may become a black stream. Spin and fly into the blue vortex. It only takes a second or two. The black stone portal disappeared without a trace. What the hell is this? Fire! A team of Hydra agents rushed over as quickly as possible. But it's of no use. Wong Kai and Luna left calmly. The only targets left were the leaderless Hydras within Serpent Shield. The operation to capture Little Bald Sidwell and Crossbones Rumlow was extremely fast and smooth. Sidwell was thrown downstairs in Captain America 2 and was so frightened that he vomited everything. This time it was just as fast. And although Crossbones Rumlow is very hard, even Veritaserum couldn't make him reveal the truth. But after collecting a lot of information, there is no shortage of him. So Wong Kai very generously sent the two of them to see God. And all the preparations are finally completed. When night falls, Nick Fury handed over all Hydra information to Wong Kai. I felt extremely heavy for a moment. With this exchange, the lives of thousands of Hydra agents were at stake. But a stormy new era for S.H.I.E.L.D. is coming. Let's go. It may be dark tonight, but tomorrow S.H.I.E.L.D. will embrace a brighter future. Nick Fury took Coulson and important witness John Garrett to visit various ministers of the World Security Council. Only by convincing them can S.H.I.E.L.D. avoid disintegration directly. Stark Tower. Wong Kai handed Tony a copy of the Hydra information in his hand. At the same time, he said earnestly, "The people above are on the must-kill list. If you can't do it, you can leave them all to me." The implication is that no one can be left alive. Although Tony killed not 50 but 100 terrorists. But killing so many people at once is not acceptable to ordinary people. It doesn't matter, they are all the same as terrorists. But what are you going to do with so many corpses? It's easy. Wong Kai smiled slightly. As long as Luna opens the portal and throws them into the crater, there will be no corpses anywhere. So the long night of assassination began. From the top to the bottom, regardless of age, occupation, gender, all Hydra agents are Wong Kai's assassination targets. It is also the target of Tony's revenge. The two have a clear division of labor. Wong Kai went to the faraway S.H.I.E.L.D. base and Hydra base to call names one by one. Tony deals with the Hydra personnel closest to him. For this reason, Luna also specially used invisibility magic for the steel suit. This way you don't have to worry about identity leakage. In the dead of night, a Hydra agent who was sleeping soundly at home suddenly heard an explosion. The extremely alert agent quickly got out of bed and picked up the bedside pistol. Hold your breath and listen to the sounds around you. The inner alertness jumped to the maximum. Suddenly the door slowly opened. Squeak. The Hydra agent immediately opened the safety hand, pulled the trigger and pointed the gun outside the door. Eyes narrowed slightly. At any time, all 20 bullets in the magazine can be fired within 3 seconds. But there was no one behind the door. The tension has not relaxed. Because he heard a faint sound of mechanical operation. Who? The Hydra agent roared. A debt collector. Bang. The mini machine gun on the shoulder suddenly fired bullets. The Hydra agent only saw a flash of fire suddenly appear in his eyes, and then he lost all his strength and fell down. What kind of debt collection? This was his last consciousness. Tony left quickly. Get to your next destination on Jarvis's best road map. A night of talking about whether it is long or not, whether it is short or not. Their time is very tight. Or that aircraft carrier. Wong Kai and Luna came back after 6 hours apart. Although this is one of Hydra's lairs. But there are still many S.H.I.E.L.D. agents who have not yet been brainwashed. So you can't solve the problem by cutting it in half and throwing 2 cat bombs. I can only name them one by one. Luna, can you open the portal directly under their feet? Wong Kai suddenly asked. Of course. Luna blinked her big eyes and replied. Well, just let the Hydra agents fall into the volcanic lava, so that they can be reincarnated directly. Complete in one step, Wong Kai from the province continued to stage bloody scenes. We also offer one-stop services for funerals, cremations and reincarnations. Let Hydra fully feel the warmth of the world. So a style completely different from Tony's intrusive revenge began. All the Hydra agents felt as if their feet were on the wrong foot. Suddenly he fell into a sea of hot magma. Make all kinds of horrifying screams. Perform various difficult water dives. Then it turned into ashes in the red ocean. Completely swallowed by the red magma. Only a trace of black smoke slowly rose. It's like burning away their sins. The portal keeps opening. The screams inside the aircraft carrier also continued to sound. Scared those SHIELD agents. They just thought they had seen a ghost. Otherwise, why would the number of companions decrease one by one? And this scene repeated itself throughout the night. After a night passed, beyond the hives of distant galaxies, all Hydras on Earth have been wiped out. All Hydra agents in the data were killed. Even Dr. Zola, who was dead but had his consciousness transferred into the computer, was not spared. Basically, those responsible for Wong Kai were classified as missing. And Tony is responsible for all kinds of things. There are vendettas, accidents, sudden deaths, etc. Coulson, who was later responsible for the matter, was so worried that a lot of his hair fell out. After all, it takes countless brain cells just to think of the cause of death for these people. And Nick Fury did a show. Through various evidences, the World Security Council was convinced of the existence of Hydra and their huge conspiracy. The previous remarks and measures against Wong Kai were all caused by Hydra. After such a wave of operations, the hostility of the World Security Council towards Wong Kai has obviously become much less. He will no longer continue to aggressively demand that Wong Kai be dealt with at all costs. Let Wong Kai and Luna's lives get back on track. As for the nascent SHIELD, although everything is in vain, but he rose from the ashes. All the traitors are dead, and the rebels have also been eliminated. If the Lord and his loyal ministers still can't have fun, then delete their accounts themselves. Stark Tower. After Tony's revenge, he obviously returned to his cynical state. It's like letting go of a big stone in my heart. Ideas pop up in my mind one after another. The upgrade plan for the iron suit can't wait. Tony, if Whiplash comes to take revenge on you, remember to inform me. Wong Kai suddenly said, now Iron Man has solved the problem of palladium poisoning. So I probably won't go to Morocco to race cars. God knows where Whiplash's vengeance will begin. For the purpose of checking in, it's better to be on the safe side. No problem, I have some good news for you by the way. Happy successfully found Killian and accepted my investment. After perfecting the Extremis virus, I decided to let the Avengers get a copy. Then you better push the Extremis virus to perfection. Wong Kai took Luna's hand and smiled. After all, no one wants to be a bomb ready to explode. Although the Extremis virus can strengthen human body functions and repair damaged body tissues, it allows humans to possess ultra-high temperatures, self-healing, and powerful power far beyond that of ordinary people. Comparable to the super soldier serum injected by Captain America. But it is also extremely unstable. It's very easy to turn yourself into a bomb and explode. Probably terrorists will like this function. Don't worry, this is very easy for me. Tony smiled confidently. This is of course certain and certain. SHIELD's scientific research base. Nick Fury has not forgotten his promise to Wong Kai. So I contacted him immediately. Coulson has been waiting at the airport for a long time. Seeing the three people getting off the helicopter, they immediately came over. Just listen to Luna complaining full of resentment. I will never take this noisy dead man vehicle again. It makes my ears hurt. It's not like you have to experience it, now you have to endure the hardship. Wong Kai smiled and touched Luna's hair. The group of people walked into the largest building in the base. This used to be the scientific research base of the Pegasus project. Unfortunately, it has been idle since the failure of the hyperdrive project. Nick Fury briefly talked about Tesseract. The situation is almost the same as what Wong Kai knew. The Tesseract was first in the hands of Asgard. 1500 years ago Odin used the Tesseract to raid the giants of Jotunheim who came to Earth. After winning, He hid it in the battlefield at that time, Tønsberg, Norway. After that, the Red Skull found the Tesseract and used it to develop energy weapons. But in the end he was defeated by Captain America. The Red Skull was teleported to the planet Vormir, and the Tesseract fell into the Arctic Ocean. After being salvaged, the Pegasus project used the hyperspeed engine. After the Captain Marvel incident, it was swallowed by the element-devouring beast and then spit out. It has been kept by S.H.I.E.L.D. to this day. Although I don't know what you want to use it for, at least it will be monitored by us the whole time. Nick Fury said seriously. Wong Kai said that it was no problem. Now is not the time to get the space gem. He came today just to sign in. The four people took the elevator and came to the ground more than 10 meters deep. After passing through 3 more doors, I came to a room that looked like a laboratory. The Tesseract is fixed on the table in the middle of the laboratory. Like a light blue cube crystal that keeps shining. Ding, it has been detected that the host is in the hidden sign in location, the space gem storage area, and the sign in process has begun. The countdown to check-in is 29 minutes and 59 seconds. The system sound finally appears. Wong Kai also showed a smile. He can now draw 10 in a row twice. I don't know which new hero template will be drawn. Or other powerful equipment. While everyone else was attracted by the dazzling color of Tesseract, Luna suddenly walked to the corner in surprise. Hey, can you still keep cats in your laboratory? Luna looked at the big orange cat under her and immediately fell in love with it. I touched the orange fur and found no resistance. He immediately knelt down and held him in his arms. Mr. Fury, is this cat raised by your scientist? Luna said and started to play with the orange cat's fleshy claws. Wong Kai's heart trembled when he saw it. Looking at Nick Fury's face again, you know that your guess is right. This is not an orange cat. This is the element-devouring beast. One of the most terrifying creatures in the entire universe. The stomach is connected to a different dimensional space. Can swallow almost every object in the world. But without intelligence. The behavior is completely the same as that of an ordinary orange cat. Brother Kai, look how cute he is. Luna immediately came over with the element-devouring beast in her arms. As a result, Nick Fury took a step back instantly. His eyes were scratched by this cat. Malefak had not forgotten. Yeah, it's really cute. Wong Kai smiled slightly, calmed down and touched the meat claws of the yuan-devouring beast. Then asked Nick Fury, is it okay to give this orange cat to Luna? This Gugu was just raised by me to help others. Nick Fury showed a rare hesitation. Coulson looked extremely strange. I feel like I have some big secrets that I don't know much about. It doesn't matter. If she comes back, just think that Luna is helping to raise her. I see. Then let Luna take her away. Nick Fury instantly understood that Wong Kai knew about Captain Marvel, and immediately agreed. This kind of opportunity, which is equivalent to making Wong Kai a favor, is rare. After all, eat soft food rather than hard food. It will definitely be easier to ask him to do things in the future. Luna was very happy when she heard that the orange cat could be taken away. She grabbed the element-devouring beast and spun it around for several times. The little girl's mentality was clearly revealed. What does Gugu like to eat? I'll go back and buy cat food. Well, it's not picky about food, it likes to eat everything. Wong Kai suddenly smiled knowingly. This was indeed true. Half an hour passed quickly. Wong Kai didn't do much research on Tesseract except playing with Luna and cats. This left Nick Fury and Coulson a little confused. I thought I would see some special magic. As a result, the two of them just kept playing with the cat. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully signing in at the hidden sign in location where the space gem is stored. Get 3,000 check-in points. The system prompt sounds. Wong Kai finally no longer has to worry about the check-in point. Now it has 5,150 check-in points. It is the highest in history. Now I feel confident asking Odin to borrow something. Wong Kai showed a very satisfied smile. Resigned directly to the two of them. Luna hugged Gugu and drew the portal. The two went directly back to their home where they had been away for nearly 10 days. The next day, Wong Kai and Luna returned to campus again. As a result, when I met Peter, I found that he was depressed again. What's wrong with you? Did Mary hand you the good guy card again? How do you know? Peter looked surprised. Wong Kai rolled his eyes. Apart from this, what else could make dog liquor like this? I know, your goddess must have fallen in love with your best friend Harry again, and you fell out of love again. This time Peter opened his mouth wide. Then his eyes dimmed. He laughed at himself. It's not considered lovelorn. Mary never said she liked me. I used your gold card to spend a lot of money on her, but in the end I only got the sentence that we are not suitable. Of course it's inappropriate, Wong Kai complained in his heart. After all, Harry is now the president of Osborne Group. 10 million gold cards can be played as playing cards. Where can Peter be compared? Peter, I realize you are a hopeless idiot. Mary Jane is obviously a big green tea. Why did you hang yourself on a tree? Wong Kai looked at Peter and shook his head repeatedly. He keeps smacking his tongue in his mouth, showing extremely disappointed eyes. Brother Kai, what is big green tea? Luna suddenly blinked and asked. Peter also had a question mark on his face. Seeing this, Wong Kai had no choice but to explain. The so-called big green tea is a woman who pretends to be pure in front of others, but secretly likes to play with other people's feelings. It generally gives people a feeling of artificiality and hypocrisy. Classmate Peter Parker, don't you think Mary is such a hypocritical woman? She's just playing tricks on you, Wong Kai said sharply. After hearing this, Peter covered his head and refused to believe it, burying his head deep in the sand like an ostrich. No, Mary can never be such a person. Really, then how do you explain her ambiguous relationship with so many men? When you had no money, she didn't bother to care about you. When you got rich, she would play with you. Then when she met the richer Harry, she excused herself and said that you two were not suitable. Coupled with the previous relationship with the son of the owner of the Daily Bugle, anyone who knows about this kind of person will despise him. Only a fool would treat her as a goddess. Wong Kai continued to strike. If the true identity of this green tea is not revealed today, the character, Wong, will be written upside down. After hearing this, Peter stood there blankly. I couldn't speak to myself for a long time. There seemed to be two voices in my heart that are constantly quarreling. One thought that Wong Kai was right, and the other thought that the goddess was perfect. The quarrel made him so irritated that his head was getting big. Brother Kai, is he okay? When Luna saw Peter, she was stunned for a moment, and then her expression changed drastically, and she thought he was being scolded for being stupid. I can't help but worry and ask. Wong Kai signaled Luna to rest assured. This is just cognitive calibration. This is the process after suffering a blow. After a while, Peter took a deep breath to recover. He looked at Wong Kai with burning eyes, then stepped forward and grabbed his right hand and held it tightly. "Okay, thank you." Then he walked straight outside the campus. I hailed a taxi and left, looking in the direction that should be heading to the Osborne Group building. What happened to him? Luna asked in confusion. Wong Kai smiled slightly. Maybe he's awakened. Osborne Group President's office. Harry was currently dealing with various government affairs out of boredom. Suddenly the secretary sent a message. Peter Parker came to find him. Although Harry was surprised, he still asked his secretary to bring Peter up. Hey Peter, why didn't you come to me in class today? Harry, I'm here to tell you some bad news. Peter quickly told his good friends about Mary Jane. Naturally, my friends couldn't believe it for a while. After all, he once had a crush on Mary. And now Mary is dating him again. But as Peter slowly told the story, Harry also discovered that something was wrong. Wait a minute, let me call Jonathan, the son of the owner of the Daily Bugle, to confirm. Compared to Peter's ultimate dog licking, as a rich second generation, Harry is much more rational. Jonathan was still dating Mary a month ago. You should know more or less the inside story. After a while, the call was connected, and a very enthusiastic voice came from the other side. Hey, the youngest president of a business empire in history. It's an honor to be on the phone with you. As the major shareholder of the Daily Bugle, Jonathan is naturally very polite. After Harry said a few polite words, he got straight to the point. Do you know this woman Mary Jane? Of course we know each other, we just broke up less than 2 days ago. 2 days. A green question mark suddenly appeared on Harry and Peter's heads. Without waiting for them to ask, the other end of the phone started talking endlessly. Mary is really nice. Although she looks innocent and beautiful, she is actually very slutty. As long as she is willing to spend money and give gifts, she will not refuse any request. If Mr. Osborne likes her, I can help you make an appointment. It would be even better if we all play together. Harry and Peter's faces turned green after hearing this. What the hell is this? Even if the United States is very open, it cannot accept this kind of thing. Especially Peter. I feel more and more that what Wong Kai said is true. He was really fooled so badly. Blood loss. They kissed each other, still is Spider-Man. Mary is a drama actor. I wonder where Mr. Osborne met him. Jonathan on the other end of the phone asked. And Harry was distraught. After a few perfunctory words, he hung up the phone. The two looked at each other. They all saw anger and disgust in their eyes. I didn't expect Mary Jane to be such a big green tea. Peter almost gritted his teeth and said, "She is really good at acting. She is indeed an actress." Harry became even more angry. "Let's take revenge on this green tea," Harry said fiercely. "Isn't she an actor? Let's see who is better at acting." Peter nodded firmly. "No matter what, you have to make up for this loss." So in the next period of time, Harry first had a normal relationship with Mary, and promised to invest in several drama troupes, make her famous as a drama star and even a Hollywood superstar. And it did exactly that. Contract a theater and invite people from all walks of life to come and watch. Coupled with the hype from newspapers and news media, Mary became a hot drama actor in New York overnight, which made Mary ecstatic. She said in her heart that she had indeed made the right decision. But that night, Harry showed his fangs. Bring Mary home grandly. The smile of an experienced driver made Mary instantly understand what she was going to do. I wanted to maintain the original innocent disguise. But how could Harry, who knew it all, be fooled as easily as usual? Then this was the first time. If there is a first time, there will naturally be countless times. The second time was in the car. The third time Harry brought a camera. It's the fourth time to replace Peter. Mary finally knew that she had been tricked by two people, but she could no longer refuse if she wanted to. The dream of Hollywood stardom seduced Mary and she couldn't help herself. The three of them were trapped in the abyss of desire and couldn't help themselves. But in the end the dream will eventually wake up one day. Feeling that the cost had been recouped, Harry released his treasured photos and videos during one of Mary's play performances, which instantly caused an uproar in New York. Mary's innocent character suddenly collapsed. Coupled with Harry's operation, she basically said goodbye to the acting industry. Then Harry kicked Mary away. Let her bid farewell to the luxurious upper-class life. Finally, Peter Parker, who has been a dog licker for thousands of years, made the final stab to Mary Jane. "You're a good person, Mary, but we're not a good match." Big Green Tea finally bids farewell to New York. No one was interested in knowing where she went. But what is certain is that it is easy to go from frugality to luxury, but it is difficult to go from luxury to frugality. Mary Jane was destined to live a miserable life for a while. And Harry and Peter also lived a comfortable life after getting rid of the Big Green Tea. Peter met Gwen Stacy under the introduction of Luna. This heroine in the Amazing Spider-Man 2-part series is much better than Big Green Tea, both in character and appearance. And Harry, the CEO's happiness is unimaginable to others. Each of them has a bright future. The other side. After a long wait, Ivan Vanko, who decided to take revenge on Iron Man because of his father's death, the villain Whiplash finally appeared. It's just not like showing up at the racing track in Iron Man 2. Instead, he waited quietly in front of the entrance to the underground parking lot of Stark Tower until Tony drove his sports car to the company. When he saw the target's whipcord, he suddenly revealed two lightning whips and stepped forward to attack. A whip. With a crisp crack, Tony's car split into two pieces. The sports car was scrapped on the spot. The red light flashes at the fracture, showing the terrifying attack power of these two lightning whips. When Tony saw this, he hurriedly picked up the briefcase on the passenger seat and slid out of the seat. Two whips. Another crisp sound. The lightning whip hit the driver's seat directly, almost splitting Tony in half. Three whips. The whip cord continued to chase Tony but missed. A black mark burned by high temperature was left on the ground. Tony took the briefcase and ran away without looking back. although Whiplash's inferior version of the powered exoskeleton gave him great strength. But the wheel speed was not even as good as normal running, and he couldn't catch up with Tony at all. "Coward, don't run," Whiplash shouted angrily to Tony. As a result, Tony was really obedient and stopped after running less than 30 meters. But this is not Tony being stupid. But he felt that this distance was enough for him to wear a battle suit. Decisively press a button on the red briefcase. Like magic, the briefcase quickly wrapped around the body. Tony put on the Mark V portable suit right in front of the whip rope. "Now we can have a good fight." Tony smiled confidently. At the same time, he said to Jarvis, the artificial intelligence in the suit, "Tell Wong Kai about the arrival of the whip rope, but I don't need his help." A ball of flame suddenly shot out from under his feet. Tony drove the Mark V portable suit straight towards the whip cord. But this was the stupidest choice he made. 4 whips. 5 whips. Whiplash's eyes flashed with vengeful fire. He exploded with all his strength and brandished 2 lightning whips at the same time, whipping Tony down. Bang! The suit fell to the ground with a dull sound. It rolled outwards several times before stopping. 2 burn marks appeared on the thin battle suit. Although the defense was not broken, the appearance was broken. "Stark, you will pay for everything your family has done." Whiplash roared angrily at Tony. "I was just about to use the 5 lightning whip skills again." Then he saw a circle shining with golden fireworks suddenly appear in midair in front of Tony. When the circle expanded, I saw a pair of boys and a girl and 2 people with Asian faces walking out. And the girl actually held an orange cat in her arms. As expected, you still suffered a loss, Tony. Wong Kai didn't know what to say when he saw this. This is even more embarrassing than the original plot. After all, Tony now knows about the existence of the whipcord. Ding, it has been detected that the host is located at the sign in location, Whiplash's vengeance, and the sign in process will begin. The countdown to sign in is 2 minutes and 59 seconds. The system sounds, seeing that Tony had stood up safely. But he still said stubbornly, "Humph, it's just that I was careless." "Children, don't interfere, just watch." Wong Kai shrugged. "Let Luna and Gugu look around to get out of the way." In order to save face, Tony immediately drove the suit and rushed forward again. The fight downstairs in Stark Tower soon attracted security personnel. But when they came to the underground passage with batons, they were stunned. "Want to go over and help?" "Let's forget it. We just caused trouble in the past." "Then let Iron Man take care of himself." "Isn't it true that Mr. Stark always takes care of himself?" So the security personnel had to call the police quickly and informed the company's president, Pepper, while they continued to watch from the outside. Tony's fight with Whiplash was quite satisfactory. Although the lightning whip can split ordinary steel. But it's not enough when it comes to titanium alloys. This is also the confidence that Tony had in the original plot when he dared to wrap the lightning whip all over his body and get close to the whip rope. But now it is far different from the original plot. I saw Tony flying quickly to the top of the whip rope. The Mark V portable suit has a flight function, but it is not shown in the movie. Cannons fired from both hands. The whip cord instantly throws out 5 lightning whips. But he couldn't reach Tony in the air at all. "You're dumbfounded, you idiot." Tony mocked, then suddenly fired the palm cannon. 2 arc pulses flew out of the palm and rushed towards the whip cord. But he was whipped away by the lightning whip. The air made a popping sound. At this time, it seemed that Tony's attack failed, but in fact he had won. I saw Tony quickly flying behind the whip rope. Take advantage of the half-second when the whip cord has no time to react. He turned 360 degrees in the air and kicked whip rope in the back of the head. With the powerful power brought by the battle suit, whip rope fainted instantly and flew out more than 10 meters. After landing, Tony stepped forward and took off the small arc reactor and crushed it directly. It can be seen that the power blessing of the suit is stronger than that of Captain America. See your boss defeat the enemy. Several security guards immediately stepped forward and grabbed the whip cord, waiting for the police to arrive. But Tony came to Wong Kai very rudely and said, "Look, I just said that I was just careless." Wong Kai was a little dumbfounded. "Your battle armor has become the Middle East war-damaged version. Hurry up and study nano war armor. This thin-skinned battle armor has no value at all." HMPH, do you think nanosuits can be made just by talking? Tony curled his lips and didn't want to discuss the technical difficulty with Wong Kai. At this time, Little Pepper hurried over with a charming female assistant. Seeing the disfigured armor, his face was full of anxiety. Tony, are you okay? It's okay, it's just a joke. Besides, your assistant. Tony is getting horny. But suddenly I heard the female assistant say, S.H.I.E.L.D. Senior Agent, Black Widow Natasha Romanoff. Seeing Wong Kai standing by, Natasha Romanoff was too lazy to pretend. Just state your name. Pepper was a little surprised, but she quickly realized that she was the Black Widow in Wong Kai's spoiler. Tony, Director Fury wants to talk to you. No need to talk about it, I will form the Avengers myself and let him finish the crippled shield. Besides, don't think that I don't know. He must have let Winter Soldier go on purpose. Chapter 71. Although Hydra even spread its ashes. But Winter Soldier Bucky wasn't on the list that night. And this must have been Nick Fury's idea. Although I don't know if it's for Captain America, who may still be alive, or simply to supplement the combat power of the nearly disabled shield. In short, the Winter Soldier who escaped from Hydra is definitely still alive. And this made Tony very unhappy. In addition, it was S.H.I.E.L.D. who killed his parents. If Tony can give Nick Fury a good look. Avengers, Kai, you seem to have a lot of things you haven't told us. Natasha Romanoff is not angry. Instead, he smiled charmingly at Wong Kai. Luna, who was watching on the sidelines, was secretly angry. There are many things that the fewer people know about, the better. Let's go up and have a good chat. 15 minutes later, office on the top floor of Stark Tower. Natasha Romanoff couldn't help but widen her eyes after hearing about her future. Especially when she and Hawkeye were competing for sacrifice, her expression became even more gloomy. If that moment really comes, then both of them are indeed people who can sacrifice themselves for each other. So what's your plan? Natasha Romanoff asked in a deep voice. Thanos is so powerful, even if the Infinity Gauntlet can defeat the later Avengers, then there is no way to change that outcome without a comprehensive plan. We're still a year away from the Battle of New York. Of course we have to be fully prepared and gather all the superheroes to take the initiative to kill Thanos to avoid future troubles. Wong Kai had a serious look on his face. This plan has been made for a long time. Now it's just a matter of bringing the various heroes into the group. Is this possible? According to what you said, there won't be as many superheroes as there will be in Endgame a year from now. Faced with Natasha Romanoff's doubts, Wong Kai just smiled slightly. He said very confidently, "You alone are not enough superheroes, but with me, it is enough. I alone am an army." Even with Wong Kai's current strength, as long as he is blocked outside the Space Gems portal, not a single one of the Chitauri army on the other side could make it alive. The critical strike of the knife blocks the spring water. That's what I'm talking about. Since you are so confident, sister, I am also relieved. Natasha Romanoff looked at Wong Kai with a charming smile. But it made Wong Kai extremely embarrassed. Luna on the side narrowed her eyes and puffed out her mouth like an angry beast, as if she was going to bite someone if she wasn't careful. When Little Pepper saw this, he had no choice but to come out and smooth things over. In this case, Natasha Romanoff, you agree to join the Avengers. Of course I agree, after all, it is for the safety of the Earth. So when are you quitting S.H.I.E.L.D.? This needs me to think about it carefully. For Natasha Romanoff, S.H.I.E.L.D. is her home. Now that I have to move, I will naturally feel a little bit reluctant to leave. But if Nick Fury's character knew these things, once S.H.I.E.L.D. stabilizes, it should be time to let go. A brief moment of silence. Natasha Romanoff stood up and said goodbye to everyone. It's time for me to leave. I really learned a lot of amazing information today. Captain America is still alive. After finding him, the bad situation in S.H.I.E.L.D. can be stabilized. As for the battle in New York, I will tell Director Fury and Hawkeye. I hope you understand. Everyone nodded. Pepper sent Natasha Romanoff away. Tony immediately became a monster. With a smile on his face, he said, "The famous Black Widow seems to be interested in you. Does she like a tender kid like you?" Wong Kai's face suddenly darkened. Seeing Luna next to her, she couldn't bear it any longer. Wear a hanging ring on your hand and draw circles with one hand. As a result, as soon as Tony stood up, a portal suddenly appeared at his feet. After screaming, he fell straight down. Then a portal also appeared on the roof of the office. Tony fell from the portal above. Then enter the portal below. Just like that, it started falling in an infinite loop. Yeah, this is awesome. Woohoo. As a result, Tony not only did not panic, but started to pose like he was free falling from high altitude. There is a rare smile on his face. When Luna saw this, she naturally couldn't let Tony have his wish. Close the portal immediately, seeing that Tony's whole body was about to be slapped on the hard floor. Wong Kai had no choice but to step forward to catch Tony. Then he looked at Luna helplessly. Luna, there was a little blame in the voice. Luna immediately lowered her head. I'm sorry, Brother Kai. I don't blame you, it's just that next time it's better to let Mr. Stark fall on a softer place, such as the beach. Luna burst into laughter at that moment. Let's play, let's make trouble, don't make fun of us. Wong Kai glanced sideways at Tony. Tony understood immediately. Throw your hands up and say you'll never make that mistake again. Let's get down to business. Hasn't Thor's hammer appeared yet? No, I have asked Jarvis to monitor the developments in New Mexico 24 hours a day. If there is any situation, I will notify you as soon as possible. Wong Kai nodded. Whiplash has just taken revenge, and the time has indeed not matched yet. Now Thor is probably preparing for his own king's coronation ceremony. But how are you going to win over Thor? After all, S.H.I.E.L.D. is now disabled. Coulson is too busy to go to New Mexico. And from what you're saying, Thor is still an arrogant idiot. Tony continued to ask. In the original plot, his relationship with Thor was not very good. The two officially fought once in Avengers 1. In Avengers 2, Thor choked Tony once. If you ask Tony to win over Thor, 90% of the time he will have a fight first. That's your business. I didn't want to win over him. In addition, even if we don't draw him into the Avengers now, he will still come to stand on the united front when the Battle of New York comes. Wong Kai's blunt words almost made Tony choke. Then why are you going to New Mexico? To steal his hammer. Haha, let me grab a hammer. Wong Kai rolled his eyes. He just wants the check-in point. This must not be told to others. Let's not talk about it. Whiplash is probably not dead. Hammer Industries will definitely steal him away according to the plot. What do you think? Just kill him. As long as the whip rope is killed, there will be no second revenge of the whip rope later. After hearing this, Wong Kai shook his finger. We must kill it, but we must also squeeze out the value of the whip. Tony, although you no longer sell weapons, Hammer Industries will continue to sell them, and I don't know who they sell to. Do you understand me? Wong Kai's words made Tony's eyes light up. You mean to use the drone armor made of whipcord to cause trouble? After that, it will either be an acquisition or a shareholding. In short, we must control Hammer Industries and not let it sell weapons to anyone at will. Children can be taught. Wong Kai smiled slightly. He once again acted as his father's substitute teacher. It is impossible to ban the arms market. Wong Kai and Tony both know this very well. But it can be incorporated and controlled. The two of them knew this very well. Nowadays, the two giants in the United States, Stark Industries and Osborne Group, are engaged in the development of new energy sources. The weapons sales market has naturally been taken over by the second-rate company Hammer Industries. As long as Hammer Industries is secretly controlled, then there will be much less illegal arms trade to Middle Eastern terrorists and African warlords. Invisibly, many lives will be saved. You actually thought so far ahead. Tony looked at Wong Kai and praised. This young man has the power and great wisdom to change the world. It is truly a blessing for mankind to be on the side of protecting the earth. After all, my father always stands taller, so he can naturally see farther. Wong Kai raised a smile on his lips. Tony's face suddenly darkened. Which one of us looks like my father at our age? At this time, Little Pepper had just sent Black Widow back. After hearing Tony's words, he couldn't help but ask. What father are you talking about? It's nothing. Mr. Stark is thinking about how many children he should have in the future. After all, things will be different in the future, ha ha ha. Wong Kai laughed and stepped into the portal with Luna. Pepper and Tony were left feeling a little nervous and looking forward to it. Are you serious? I can prepare for pregnancy now. Pepper's face turned slightly red, and Tony's brows jumped. Looking at Pepper's eyes, he could only put it off until after the Battle of New York. The other side. The plot of whipping Ivan Vanko is the same as the original plot. He escaped from prison after killing a scapegoat and detonating a bomb that blew up the cell and body beyond recognition. He was then brought to Justin Hammer. The two hit it off immediately. Justin Hammer needs the iron suit to open up the weapons market, and Whiplash needs this idiot's resources to carry out his own revenge. But the two people's seemingly perfect and seamless plan was clearly seen by Tony. Jarvis is here. Tony can easily hack into Hammer Industries' computer mainframe. Then just do your homework in advance. The unmanned mechanical armor made by Whiplash seems to be controlled by itself, but in fact it is controlled by Jarvis, and this can only be achieved if the plot is known in advance. 5 days later, the Stark Expo was held in full swing. As the host, Tony naturally appeared in an extremely charming manner. Wearing a gold and red steel suit, Mark 6, he jumped off the plane from a high altitude. With many fireworks and shells exploding around me. Land smoothly with a classic superhero knee of destruction. Open your mask and say hello to everyone. Then the mechanical device under his feet helped Tony separate the suit. It caused a burst of screams in the venue. Iron Man! Iron Man! Tony was extremely happy to see the people cheering for him. But I didn't say a few words when I stepped onto the podium. Suddenly another steel suit flew from a distance. Rod. Tony looked at the slow landing and his mind was full of questions. This plot is wrong. Brother, why are you here? War Machine, or now Iron Patriot, slowly stepped forward. He patted Tony on the shoulder and waved to the crowd below. Then he whispered, Tony, you are in trouble. What trouble? I found out that Ivan Vanko, who was defeated by you, still escaped from prison, and he will definitely take revenge on you here. That's it. Rhodes suddenly had a black question mark face. Tony, are you not sick? According to what you said, he will show up and ruin the entire expo. As Tony's best friend, Rhodes was naturally informed of the future. I thought Tony would learn a lesson or take precautions. In the end, Ivan Vanki ran away. As the best buddy, I naturally came to support you as soon as possible. In the end, I didn't expect Tony to react like this. Rhodes was really confused about the situation. Don't worry, everything is under my control. Let's go down and find a good seat to watch the Hammer Industries performance. Tony pulled Rod off the stage. It didn't take long for Justin Hammer to come up. Looking at Tony, who was still eating popcorn in the audience, he was in high spirits. Feeling very good about myself. He's going to be selling his Iron Troopers at the Stark Expo today. This is equivalent to riding on Stark's neck and shitting, and asking Stark to borrow paper. It will definitely make this annoying guy Tony Stark angry to death. Ladies and gentlemen, this time tomorrow Hammer Industries news will be on every front page. Let us welcome the new faces of America's military in the future. Army Steel Soldiers, Air Force Steel Soldiers, Navy Steel Soldiers, Marine Steel Soldiers. As Hammer's words fell, 4 neat teams of humanoid steel soldiers saluted in unison. The atmosphere at the scene reached a climax for a while. When Rhodes saw this, he wanted to go back and put on his Iron Patriot. At the same time, he said to Tony eagerly, Man, isn't this what you said? These guys are going to go on a killing spree later. Facing the anxious Rod Tony, he smiled confidently. Don't worry, the climax will come next. As soon as Tony finished speaking, all the steel soldiers suddenly began to emit electric sparks all over their bodies. Immediately afterwards, a mechanical dance started. My whole body can't stop shaking wildly. Some even turn their joints into electric fans. Or turn your waist 180 degrees. He directly twisted off his upper body. It fell to the ground with a thud. Tony laughed loudly when he saw it. For a moment, everyone in the venue started laughing. The venue was filled with a cheerful atmosphere. People applauded these steel soldiers one after another. Hammer is right. Tomorrow the news about Hammer Industries will be on the front pages of all news media. Just in a comedic way. Ha ha ha. Tony was so excited that he couldn't stand upright. He patted Rhodes and looked at a steel soldier with extremely funny movements. Even Rhodes was amused for a moment. Hey, this is your plan. That's right, it's funny. Ha ha ha. The venue was filled with laughter. But the only one who smiled worse than cried was Hammer himself. Seeing that the steel soldiers he promoted all turned into fools, and they were scrapped one after another, this made him want to cry without tears. It must be your fault. Hammer walked off the stage and grabbed Tony, who was laughing like a fool, and roared. As a result, he was instantly subdued by Rhodes. He twisted his hands behind his back and asked Tony, "Do you have a plan on how to deal with this guy?" "Of course, Hammer, come and take a look at this." Tony took out his cell phone. The picture played made Hammer's expression change instantly. From his plan to rescue the Whiplash to the creation of Iron Soldiers. There are even some records of black weapons transactions listed in the video. He is now eaten to death by Tony. What do you want?" Hammer asked in a trembling voice. Such evidence can send him to jail, and with a little manipulation, he can stay there until he dies. Facing the already trembling Hammer, Tony seemed much more calm. "It's very simple. I'll let you go, but the shares of Hammer Industries you hold need to be transferred to Rhodes. And from now on, Hammer Industries is only allowed to conduct formal arms transactions." Rhodes was instantly shocked after hearing this. Why does this have to do with him? But before Rhodes could tell Tony, he said directly, "Stark Industries has withdrawn from the arms market. If we get involved, it will only attract public attention. So I can only put your name on it." He once again explained the significance of controlling Hammer Industries. Rhodes reluctantly agreed. Hammer was also shocked by Tony's idea. This kind of big picture is beyond his imagination. "If you agree, just say it. I'm very busy. Ivan Vanki wants me to deal with it." Can't you control Ivan Vanko's suit like you control these steel soldiers?" "Yes, but not necessary." Rhodes was speechless for a moment. How could he, who knew Tony very well, not understand? Tony is thinking about fighting for the limelight again. Hammer looked at his criminal information on Tony's phone. He gritted his teeth and finally reluctantly agreed. Rhodes immediately released Hammer. Tony turned around and went to put on the steel suit. Hammer Industries headquarters. Ivan Vanki felt like his lungs were going to explode. His elaborate revenge against Stark turned out to be a joke. None of the Iron Soldiers are under his control. However, Stark's smiling face turned forward and backward was clearly transmitted to him. This almost real-name mockery made Ivan Vanki furious. "Pick up the lightning whip and split the computer open with one whip. Stark, I'm going to make you pay for your actions." Put on the homemade steel whip armor. Taking two more powerful and thicker lightning whips than before, the whip ropes directly split the ceiling and rushed out of the Hammer Industries headquarters. It flew in the air for less than 2 minutes. Whiplash met Tony, who came to find him. Enemies are extremely jealous when they meet. No words needed. Whip Rope picked up the lightning whip and threw it at Tony. The long whip, shining with blue thick electric light, made a whistling sound. It explodes when pumped into the air. But it was easily dodged by Tony, who was more flexible. And although the steel armor of Whiplash can fly, but it lacks a palm cannon for stable flight, the result is that he loses his balance with just one whip. The whole person fell towards the ground. It wasn't until I rebalanced and increased the power output of my feet that I started flying again. "Let's go to the ground." Tony took the lead and flew to the parking lot of a large supermarket chain below. It's vast enough here, and there is a lot of traffic. It will give him more exposure. But in Whip Suo's eyes, this was a naked look down on him. Another real name mockery. Whiplash is gnashing its teeth and furious. Dived towards Tony with maximum power output. With a flick of his double whip, he cut off the giant billboard next to the supermarket. Electric sparks flashed around the broken billboard and fell straight to the ground. At this time, there happened to be a young couple walking by with a stroller below. Whiplash finally remembered that he was a villain. And the villain will use this despicable skill. When Tony saw this, how could he not understand that this was Whiplash's trick to lure the enemy? "But I can't think so much at this time." Instant burst of energy increases speed to the highest level. Pick up the broken billboard when it is only a dozen centimeters away. "Run," Tony shouted. The young couple, who were suddenly dropped and almost killed, finally came to their senses. The mother picked up the child, and the father protected the two of them and fled the scene. And how could Whip Suo give up this great opportunity when he saw this? The lightning whip swung directly around Tony's suit. Tie him up directly. Then he threw out another lightning whip and wrapped it directly around Tony's neck. The energy continues to increase. The whip cord also shows its vengeful fury. Pull outward with one hand. It's like tearing Tony's head off. Jarvis, hack his suit. Now, Tony, who was tied up by the whip rope and couldn't move, had no choice but to choose the steel armor that controlled the whip rope with very useful and necessary skills. In an instant, electric sparks appeared all over the whip cord. My whole body started to tremble non-stop. Like an epileptic fit. It's like stepping on a switch again. The two lightning whips also lost their energy and dimmed in an instant. Without the interference of the lightning whip, Tony stretched out his hands and broke the two long whips. Then he raised his right arm and fired laser rays. A red scorching ray instantly cut through the steel armor of the whip cord and destroyed the arc reactor on the chest. After losing energy, it hit the ground directly. There was a muffled thump. The whip cord lay on the ground as still as a vegetative state without any movement. Tony put down the billboard and walked forward. A scan of Jarvis reported that the bomb had been defused. But at this moment the whip cord still has a breath. Not really dead. At this time, a small golden portal suddenly appeared above Whiplash's head. Then a cyan magic blade protruded from it. The tip of the knife penetrated the steel-armored helmet with almost no obstruction. Not stained with any dirty blood. The cyan magic blade was retracted and disappeared. Tony was stunned when he saw this. What is this? Stealing people's heads. Click, click, the sound of cameras suddenly coming and going. And there are constant flashes of light shining on me. Tony turned around and looked around. It turned out that the pedestrians around the supermarket and the employees inside had all run out to watch Iron Man fight. So I chose to forget Wong Kai's head-stealing behavior directly. I went to take photos with my fans instead. Tonight, Wong Kai gained 100 check-in points, now totaling 5,550 check-in points. Also tonight, Thor was banished from Asgard. An energy storm suddenly appeared over New Mexico. A hammer-shaped weapon fell from it. It hit the ground like a meteorite falling. Although there was no explosion. But a huge crater still appeared in the wasteland outside the town. Thor's hammer lay quietly on the mud pillar in the pit, waiting for someone qualified to take it away. At the same time, another figure emerged from the storm. Thor was stripped of all his divine power and thrown to earth. He needs to overcome his reckless and arrogant character. And Loki also began to act like a monster under the watchful eye of God King Odin. What he needs to overcome is inferiority and jealousy. Whoever of the two can complete their respective trials will be the next king of Asgard. After Wong Kai learned that Thor's hammer appeared, the first time is not to sign in. Instead, we have a long-lost lottery draw. Odin is not a philanthropic person. He can borrow the treasures in the treasury at any time. Wong Kai needs a trump card. System, I want to draw a lottery, 20 draws in a row. Ding, 4,000 check-in points have been consumed, and the lottery is in progress. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting the hero experience card for one day, the god of creation, Pangu. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the hero template, charming fox Dodgy. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the special mode and awakening. Ding, congratulations to the host for acquiring skills and righteous potential. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the skill, Shield of Oath. Ding, congratulations to the host for acquiring the skill, Fluctuation of Time. Ding, congratulations to the host for acquiring the skill, Landslide and Earth Shattering. Ding, congratulations to the host for acquiring the skill, Mantra, King Ming. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the equipment and the power of the Master. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting the equipment, the Mask of Pain. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting the equipment, the Watcher's Armor. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining consumables, Large Medicine Box 4. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining a special item, and the System Backpack Expansion Space 3. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting a special item, thank you for your patronage too. At the end of the lottery, Wong Kai's lips tilted up and he could not help but smile. This time it's even tougher than last time. I actually drew Pangu. This is the god of creation. But then again, Pangu, the god of creation, is not the god of dawn. Pangu is a soldier over 2 meters tall. So how to use it is still a question. System, how tall is Pangu, the god of creation? Wang Kai asked the system directly. It is said that Pangu created heaven and earth from chaos. In order to prevent heaven and earth from closing again, he put his head on the sky and his feet on the ground, and his body gradually grew with the separation of heaven and earth. Gradually transform into a towering giant. And this giant is definitely not measured in meters. Pangu, the god of creation, is about 45,000 kilometers tall, and his body is larger than the earth. Therefore, it is recommended that the host choose a good location when using it, otherwise the god of creation will become the god of destruction. Wang Kai's eyes widened instantly. After asking again, the system was not happy. Ding, I suggest that the host's ears be donated if they are no longer needed. The host heard it right. Pangu's body was 45,000 kilometers long, which is about 3.5 times the diameter of the Earth. His clenched fist was as big as the moon. Once used on the Earth, it can easily kick the Earth out of its original orbit, and subsequently lead to a world-destroying disaster. This time Wang Kai heard clearly. The fist is as big as the moon. Can easily kick the Earth away. No wonder Ancient One said that Pangu mode can beat Mephisto. This is more than just a beating. Mephisto can be killed with just one finger. The King of Hell is no different than a bug. As for Thanos, what does destroying you have to do with you? The only problem is that the large size makes it inconvenient to use. After all, it is not a good thing to cause a planet to deviate from its original orbit. Let's look at the second reward. Finally, a new hero template is released. But this time she is a heroine. System, if I switch to Daji's hero template, will I myself become a woman? A female doll to be precise. Hiss, isn't that just an inflatable doll? Wang Kai took a deep breath and shook his head. This hero template, let's forget about it. Special mode, Awakening. It's not a skill, but a mode. The effect is similar to turning on sprint to increase movement speed. Awakening will also strengthen some attributes. For the Kai Daddy template, the effect shown is that after using the Immortal Demon Body, the size increases, and the attack range of the second skill Extreme Blade Storm becomes larger. Under the Zonkui template, the hook becomes longer. Under the Huyi template, the ultimate move, Burning Sun Arrow, can be controlled to fly freely. It can be used as a summoner skill. Justice Potential. From the fierce axe Cheng Yaojin, it bursts with righteous passion, recovers injuries every second, and increases movement speed by 30% for 5 seconds. Cool down for 30 seconds. Shield of the Oath. From the power of the Paladin, Arthur, it increases movement speed by 30% for 3 seconds, and the next attack will cause more damage. Cooling time 10 seconds. Fluctuation of time. From the time of Countercurrent, Sun Bin, he guides the power of time and space to increase movement speed by 30% for 2 seconds, with a cooldown of 12 seconds. All 3 skills are acceleration, coupled with sprint plus running wolf emblem plus rage. The speed of 6 consecutive rounds is almost as fast as flying. Landslide. From the elite chieftain, Bull Demon, it splits the earth after a short period of charge, causing damage to enemies within the range, and the torn earth will also cause continuous damage. Cooling time 40 seconds. Mantra Mingwang. Punch 5 times quickly in the designated direction. Each punch will reduce the enemy's defense. The cooldown time is 10 seconds. 2 ordinary skills. Even if it is drawn, the number of appearances will be worrying. Grandmaster's Power. Increased attack power, 20% critical hit rate, and the next attack after using a skill will cause more damage. Endless Plus Grandmaster is finally complete. Now all that's left is to break the army. There is nothing to say about putting it directly into the system equipment bar. Mask of Pain. Increases spell damage by 12%, and increases the upper limit of life. Hitting an enemy with the skill will continue to cause magic damage. Those with unlucky names are thrown directly into the warehouse. Watcher's Armor. Increases physical defense and reduces the enemy's attack speed when attacked. Basically not used, you can give it to Kamatage's Crispy Mage. The large medicine box and system backpack expansion space are drawn for the second time. Both are useful. In particular, the system backpack expansion space has tripled from the original basis. There are now 16 cubic meters of storage space. You can put more things in it. After reading all the rewards, Wang Kai was very satisfied. Whether it's an intermediate draw or an ultimate draw. In short, he earned it with blood. Let's go Luna, I'll show you aliens. United States, New Mexico. When Wong Kai and Luna arrived at the crater where Thor's hammer landed, it was already heavily surrounded. It's just not S.H.I.E.L.D., but Stark Industries. Tony and Rhodes were holding back their blushes and trying to pull Thor's hammer out of the mud pillar. But it's a pity that Thor's hammer doesn't move at all even if he wears the steel suit. It won't work what you're doing. Wong Kai saw the two people struggling and stopped them directly. This is a rule-based inability to lift, not a physical inability to lift. Thor's hammer is forged from the core of the fallen planet. Odin cast a spell on it again. Anyone who is qualified and lifts Thor's hammer will gain the power of Thor. Unless it meets the magic certification. Or stronger than Odin. Or maybe it's not someone, Vision, Elevator, who can lift it. After Wong Kai explained it, the two had no choice but to give up. How about letting Luna try it? Rhodes suddenly said. She is so kind, what if she can lift it up? Luna was stunned when she hugged Gu. Me, no need. Brother Kai, why don't you go try it? Wong Kai shook his head. He was definitely not qualified and had no interest at all. While everyone was discussing, Gugu in Luna's arms suddenly opened her mouth. A dozen pink tentacles like octopus tentacles protruded from it. He directly wrapped around Thor's hammer and swallowed it in one gulp. Waterfa. After the second sound, all four people froze on the spot. Tony and Rhodes even took a few steps back. Luna was also so frightened that she loosened her hands and threw Gugu to the ground. What the hell is this? Why did it eat Thor's hammer? Tony and Rod pointed at Gugu who was licking his toes and shouted. But Wong Kai doesn't know either. Gugu ate Tesseract in Captain Marvel and then vomited it out. Why have you swallowed Thor's hammer again now? Let me briefly explain that this is an element-devouring beast that looks like an orange cat. A very rare species in the entire universe. Wong Kai hugged Gugu and said. He smiled at the frightened two people and said, don't worry, the element-devouring beast won't attack humans easily, well, probably. Tony and Rhodes' eyelids jumped when they heard this. What do you mean roughly? Now that Thor's hammer is gone, how do you want to explain it to Thor? There is also the upcoming destroyer armor. Didn't you say that it can't be destroyed except by Thor's hammer? Wong Kai looked at the innocent-looking Gu and scratched his head. Let's talk about it then. What if Gugu also eats the destroyer armor? The two were speechless for a moment. Anyway, let's meet Thor first. It would be easier if he knew the element-devouring beast. Wong Kai handed Gugu to Luna. The four of them had no choice but to go to the town to find Thor. Same as the original plot. When Thor came to Earth, he was hit by Daisy, the most powerful female driver on the planet. Later, Daisy stunned her with a stun gun and sent her to the hospital. Then Thor, who fled the hospital, was hit by Jane's car again. Thor was killed 3 times. In this way, several people formed an indissoluble bond. At this time, they were eating at a restaurant in a small town. Well, I like this drink. Continued cup. Bang. Thor directly dropped the cup in his hand to the ground. There was a crisp sound and the fragments instantly scattered all over the floor. Daisy and Jane were shocked. The people in the restaurant immediately looked at them with strange eyes. Eric, Daisy, and Jane had no choice but to apologize to the shop owner and quickly pick up the pieces. Jane, this guy's head is definitely broken. Daisy looked at Thor with a silly smile on his face and took out his stun gun. I was afraid that this tall and muscular man would lift me up and then slam him to the ground. At this time, another group of customers walked into the restaurant. They were discussing what was going on in the wasteland outside the town. It looked like it was a hammer, but Stark Industries said it was their fallen satellite, so they were expelled. This made several burly men very unhappy. They also said there was radiation. Nowadays, everything can be linked to radiation. Several people had just sat down. Thor couldn't sit still when he heard the word hammer. He immediately stepped forward and asked, "Where is the hammer?" 40 miles west. I wouldn't waste my time if I were you. The words have not yet fallen. Thor had already taken a big step, threw away his arms, and left in a swaggering manner. Hey, what do you want to do? Eric, Daisy, and Jane hurriedly chased after them. But he stopped right after he left the house. Oh my gosh, is that Iron Man? Daisy opened her eyes wide and looked at the 4 people and 1 cat who stopped Thor outside the restaurant. Jianda immediately corrected him and said, "Billionaire Tony Stark to be exact." Eric looked confused. Even if the satellite really fell, Stark wouldn't have to take action personally, and it seemed that they were still here to find this reckless man who was knocked unconscious by a car. "Thor, Prince of Asgard, do you recognize it?" Wong Kai pointed at Gugu. He asked straight to the point. But Thor only glanced at it and paid no attention. "Mortal, now that you know my identity, get out of the way. I still need to find my hammer of Thor." Thor looked arrogant. He didn't take 4 people and 1 cat seriously at all. But then when I saw Luna, my eyes suddenly lit up. I just felt an inexplicable emotion rushing into my mind. Luna's face quickly filled the entire field of vision. For a moment, the whole eye was filled with this beautiful shadow. I just feel like she is the only one in my heart. Thor looked like a pig brother, which made Wong Kai's face darken. He took a step forward and patted Thor directly on the shoulder. The cold voice immediately entered Thor's mind. "Have you seen enough?" "No, I want to marry her and be my wife for the rest of my life." Thor couldn't help but said it. Then I just felt a pain in my shoulder. The beautiful shadow in my eyes disappeared instantly. A face that was so indifferent that it almost stuck to his face. Betting. Boom. Wong Kai kicked Thor away with 1 kick. Like a human-shaped cannonball, it hit a car on the street. With a click, all the car's glass shattered. The frame is also recessed with a large piece. However, Thor only broke a few ribs. Obviously, even if a divine power is sealed. But his physical fitness also surpasses that of Earthlings. There's no need for this. Tony and Rhodes looked confused and said in unison. But seeing Wong Kai's cold eyes, he had no choice but to shut his mouth. Can't afford to offend. Luna suppressed laughter when she saw this. After all, Brother Kai still cared about her. "Don't worry, even if you kill Odin, you can revive Thor instantly. They are gods and they won't die so easily." Wong Kai's big kick quickly attracted many people. People raised their cell phone cameras to take pictures. Jane, Eric, and Daisy ran to check on Thor. Looking at Wong Kai and others, they were shocked and shocked. The strength of this kick is not like that of ordinary people. I don't know what big thing they were involved in. Tony, don't post our looks on the internet. There are many people taking pictures around. Wong Kai didn't want to cause trouble. No problem, what about Thor? He looks like he wants to duel with you. Tony was quite gloating. I saw Thor wiping the blood from the corner of his mouth and standing in the middle of the street again. He pointed at Wong Kai and yelled, "Mortal! How dare you attack God? I will show you the horror of angering God." Thor rushed towards Wong Kai carrying the wrath of God, as if to tear this bold mortal to pieces. But unfortunately, the louder the sound, the faster you lie down. Thor was punched by Wong Kai and his eyes became panda eyes. Then he was easily knocked unconscious by a hand knife. Luna, learn. Zon Ring drew a portal in his hand and flew towards everyone. Passing through several people like magic, Wong Kai and the others all disappeared. Even the 3 of them, Dr. Eric, who was stunned, were also taken away. Only the bewildered town residents were left. Have no idea what happened. Thor's hammer crater. Everyone was brought back here. Who are you? Jane looked around and asked in surprise. I feel like the Earth is no longer the Earth I know. I think you should ask who he is. Wong Kai pointed to Thor lying on the ground. Then the story of this arrogant and reckless prince was told. Thor, Jane, Daisy and Eric were stunned. Daisy in particular had a question mark on her face. If he's Thor, why is he afraid of my stun gun? There is no difference between being deprived of divine power and ordinary people. In addition, Thor has not yet awakened. Thor's hammer must be used to guide the thousands of thunders in the body. So it is not surprising that he was stunned. The reckless prince, Thor, I didn't expect that we would meet a character from myths and legends. Eric sighed. Then Jane continued to ask, then what do you want to do to him? This is the Prince of Asgard. Taking him away won't cause an interstellar war or anything. Looking at Jane's concerned look, everyone knew that nothing had been revealed. Rhodes bluntly said that he just wanted to tell Thor that his hammer was eaten by a cat. The 3 of them looked at Rhodes as if he was kidding me. You think we will believe it? Rhodes glanced at Gugu helplessly. He sighed in his heart, but he didn't believe it either. But that's what happened. More than 2 hours later. Rust workshops around Thor's hammer crater. The first thing Thor saw when he woke up was Wong Kai. There are also Luna and Gugu next to Wong Kai. The panda eyes had almost disappeared at this time. Thor was very angry when he saw Wong Kai, and he was about to step forward to teach Wong Kai a lesson with anger on his face. You humble mortal, how dare you attack God? That's what I always say. Boom, Wong Kai double-killed Thor. Knock him down easily with one punch. It's okay, at least he's sober. 2 more hours later. The dizzy Thor got up from the ground. I just feel sore all over. Looking back, Wong Kai no longer just jumped in and did it. Mortal, I will make you look good when I get Mjolnir back. Oh, I'm sorry, your hammer has been eaten by the element-devouring beast. What? Thor's eyes widened instantly. He once heard his mother Frigga talk about the element-devouring beast. So know how terrifying this seemingly harmless animal can actually be. That's it. Wong Kai pointed at the Gugu in Luna's hand. Thor immediately took 2 steps back as if facing a formidable enemy. So even if you regain your powers, Thor's hammer probably won't be back in your hands. It all depends on Gugu's mood. Gugu yawned, continued to lick the back of his hand. No different than a fat orange after lunch. No, I don't believe it. Thor stepped forward angrily and wanted to snatch Gugu. But he was knocked down again by Wong Kai. Let him sober up. Wong Kai and Luna immediately retreated. The outside was already filled with starlight. About half an hour later. Suddenly, a young man wearing green armor and an evil smile appeared in Thor's lounge. It was Thor's younger brother Loki. Loki was very happy to see Thor repaired like this. Later, in order to attack Thor, wake him up and inform him of Odin's death. Thor thought that his father died because of himself. After repeated blows, the reckless, arrogant and immature prince seemed to transform overnight and finally became no longer so annoying. The next day, as soon as Wong Kai saw Thor's depressed look, he knew that Loki had been here last night. Then just like in the movie plot, Loki took control of Asgard while Odin was sleeping. The 3 warriors of Asgard and Sif, who were dissatisfied with Loki's rule, came to Earth through the Rainbow Bridge. Trying to get Thor back to take charge. The 4 people quickly found them. And told Thor the truth. And Wong Kai and others also know. Asgard's most powerful humanoid weapon is coming. The Destroyer armor, the armor of God King Odin, has the blessing of Odin's divine power. In addition to being destroyed by Thor's hammer, which also has Odin's spell, this thing is theoretically unkillable. Failed prince, your good brother is going to send someone to kill you. Tony looked at the vortex appearing in the sky and mocked. As soon as he finished speaking, a colorful beam of light shot down from the vortex. Accompanied by a loud noise, it hit the wasteland not far from the crater. A silver metal robot that looks like a Michelin tire walked out of it. Come slowly towards Thor. What on earth is Loki thinking? Thor looked at the destroyer armor in disbelief and couldn't figure out why Loki wanted to kill him. The 3 warriors of Immortal Palace were also very angry when they saw this. Thor, let us fight side by side. Tear down the destroyer armor and go back to find Loki to settle the score. Asgardians are the most warlike. The 3 warriors of Immortal Palace were even more excited. They could only dream of fighting for the God King's armor. But Thor's face turned gloomy. I'm sorry that my divine power has been taken away. I'm afraid I can't fight with you. Then he forced a smile and said, but my spirit will be with you, and I wish you victory over the enemy. Sif couldn't help but be very curious when he saw this. She could clearly feel that Thor seemed to be a different person, but now the enemy had no time to ask. Sif glanced at the destroyer armor, which was already close at hand. He immediately roared to the 3 warriors of Immortal Palace, let's go. The momentum is enough, but in terms of combat effectiveness, he is only a scumbag of 5. The 3 warriors of Asgard each have 1 point. Sif is 2 points. The destroyer armor slapped the 4 people away, even the energy cannon on their heads was useless. Are all Asgardians so weak? Tony couldn't help but complain. Let the Asgardians see our awesome roads. 2 steel suits suddenly took off and rushed towards the destroyer armor. You'd better get behind with them. Wong Kai pointed at the Stark Enterprise staff and Eric who were escaping to the town. then rushed towards the destroyer armor with Luna. Everyone is fighting, but you want me to run away. Thor murmured to himself. Infinite regret emerged in my heart. On the battlefield, Rhodes was so powerful that the machine guns on his wrists and the energy cannons on his shoulders roared. Tony also did not hesitate to project firepower. He launched all the mini-missiles on his body at once. The two men's attacks instantly submerged the destroyer armor in explosions and flames. That's it. It doesn't look very strong. Tony just finished speaking. An extremely thick red laser cannon suddenly shot out from the flames. Even though Tony responded quickly, he was too late. The red laser cannon grazed the suit and instantly caused a big explosion. The suit plumped black smoke and fell straight to the ground. Tony, seeing this, Rhodes hurriedly drove his suit to pick him up. But the two were too far apart before. It's almost too late. A golden circle suddenly appeared on the ground where Tony fell. Like a well, the smoking steel suit went in with a whoosh. Then the portal on the other side opened in front of Wong Kai. Tony was caught easily. Pulling off the dark mask and seeing that Tony was still safe and sound even though he was in shock, Wong Kai also smiled like an old father. I saved you again, so you can save yourself some time. Tony, are you okay? Rhodes then flew over in a hurry. Tony shook his head and said it was nothing serious, but he felt as if he had suffered a loss. Then he continued to say harshly, I was careless. I was hit because I didn't dodge. Wong Kai and Rhodes both rolled their eyes immediately. How many times have I been careless? You have to be unable to get up next time before you can face yourself. Luna, show your skills. Okay. A golden portal suddenly appeared on the neck of the destroyer armor. Like a collar. Then it suddenly closed. Click. Odin's God King armor was directly beheaded like this. The face cannon that was about to be fired at them was immediately extinguished. The helmet fell to the ground with a thud. The armored body stood motionless. Waterfa. In an instant, Tony, Rhodes and Sif, the three Asgardian warriors, all widened their eyes. It's that simple. This is too sharp. But before everyone could finish marveling, the helmet returned to the neck of the destroyer armor in the blink of an eye, as if teleporting. The red energy cannon appears again. Aim at them and launch directly towards them. Boom. The violent explosion sound almost rang in my ears. Tony and Rhodes felt as if a wall of fire appeared in front of them. But after taking a closer look, I discovered that it was a huge golden translucent shield that blocked all the flames. Luna puts her hands in front of her to cast Seraphim Shield. Withstood the devastating blow of God King Odin's armor. Everyone who saw this scene was shocked. After all, Luna is just a little girl. But he is already able to cast such powerful magic. Meow, meow. The only one who is dissatisfied is probably Gugu. The element-devouring beast that was suddenly thrown to the ground began to meow. Probably expressing dissatisfaction. Court death. Everyone has not come back to their senses yet. Just listen to the roar like spring thunder. Wong Kai summoned the solemn and holy angel armor to possess him. The upper body of the immortal demonic body transformed into a streak of cyan lightning and instantly arrived in front of the destroyer armor. Then Wong Kai directly launched the awakening. Angel's armor suddenly grew larger. His height suddenly grew to more than 5 meters. Almost identical to the destroyer armor. The cyan magic blade, which has more than doubled in size, flashes red. The true damage enchantment split the destroyer armor in half with one strike. Boom. The destroyer armor instantly caused a big explosion that penetrated the clouds and cracked the rocks. Like the air wave coming from a car at high speed, it hit the campsite around the crater. Pushed down all the RVs inside. Not a single tent was left behind, but all of them flew into the sky. Even though Tony and the others were more than 30 meters apart, they still felt the terror of the explosion. The ground rumbled. The blazing flames release a terrifying temperature. The ground was burned. He won't die like this. The three warriors of Asgard and Sif came to Luna and asked in shock. Such an explosion. If faced head-on, they would definitely be dead. Humph, don't underestimate Brother Kai, he is very powerful. Luna raised her lips confidently. Sure enough, within a moment, everyone saw Angel's armor walking out of the flames. There was no trace of damage anywhere on his body. The eyes of the three warriors of Immortal Palace almost popped out of their heads. Nothing happened at all. Careful, Luna suddenly shouted. I saw the destroyer armor appearing behind the angel armor. Just split in half with a knife. Then there was the big explosion. It took just a few breaths to recover. Another one who can't be killed. Wang Kai was extremely speechless when he saw this. But he had no choice but to split the destroyer armor open again. Then there was another huge explosion. Then the destroyer armor recovered again. Asgard, Loki, who was holding the eternal spear and controlling the destroyer armor, turned red with anger. Where did this all come from? Such a powerful person has appeared in a mortal country. I thought Thor was bullied by mortals because he was deprived of his divine power. Now it seems that this is not the case at all. You can't destroy the destroyer armor without Thor's hammer. I want to see how long your energy lasts. Loki smiled evilly. Continue to control the destroyer armor to launch a suicide attack. But suddenly I heard Thor's voice coming in. That's enough, brother. If I hurt you because of my previous stupidity and arrogance, then I sincerely apologize to you. Because I hate the old me now too. But this is Midgard, Earth, and our war should not spread here. If killing me can end this, then do it. Thor opened his hands. I don't know when I came to the place where Wang Kai fought with the destroyer armor. There was no fear on his face. On the contrary, there is some relief. I'm sorry, Father, I let you down. Thor whispered in his heart, and then closed his eyes. In the healing room of the immortal palace, the corners of Odin's mouth raised slightly while he was sleeping. You didn't let me down, kid, it was Loki who did. The king's trial is over, the winner has been decided. Click, boom, dry land thunder suddenly sounded above Thor's head. The thunder in the sky jumped down with the momentum of destroying everything. Like welcoming Thor back, thousands of thunders surround Thor. The silver fish scales were reassembled piece by piece on the body. The red cloak reappeared behind him. The high-spirited prince of Asgard, Thor, is back. However, the only thing missing was his hammer. Thor aimed at the element-devouring beast and stretched out his hand to hold it in vain. Trying to summon combat partners of many years. But Gugu didn't react at all. Didn't spit out Thor's hammer. Where's my hammer? Thor yelled angrily. If he didn't have a hammer, he would have to give him a hammer. Didn't I tell you that you were eaten by the element-devouring beast? Ding, it has been detected that the host is located at the sign in location, where Thor was reborn, and the sign in process will begin. The countdown to sign in is 4 minutes and 59 seconds. The system prompt sounds. Wang Kai cancelled the immortal demon body and retreated continuously. He has thought of a good way to deal with the destroyer armor. System, switch hero template. A faint blue light instantly enveloped Wang Kai. After a moment, an armored giant with a height of more than 3 meters appeared in everyone's sight. Luna understood immediately. Turn both hands at the same time. Instantly, 2 golden portals appeared on the destroyer's armor, which was bowing to Thor. One on the neck, one on the waist. Then close it instantly. Click. The destroyer's armor was immediately cut into 3 pieces. But it's not over yet. 2 portals appeared again. The destroyer armor had his hands and feet cut off again. After that, it's Wang Kai's performance time. Swallowed by reincarnation. The armored giant shows unimaginable terrifying suction power. Even Thor had to dig his hands into the earth to hold them in place. Otherwise, it will definitely be sucked away. And the destroyer armor, which was divided into several pieces, was like rubbish flying all over the sky. All of them were sucked into the vortex in the chest without any hindrance. Ding, congratulations to the host for killing the villain destroyer armor. You will be rewarded with 100 check-in points. Ding, congratulations to the host for successfully signing in at the place of Thor's rebirth and gaining 500 sign-in points. The system sounds. Wang Kai also directly cancelled the reincarnation swallowing. There are currently 2,150 check-in points. Then I took a look at the system mall as usual. The skill enhancement points are not refreshed. Then I have to do another wave of 10 draws in a row. System, I want to draw a lottery, 10 draws in a row. Ding, 2,000 check-in points have been consumed, and a lottery is in progress. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting the hero experience card for 1 day, Hellfire Sun Wukong. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting the hero experience card for 1 day, the worry-free warrior Zhu Baji. Ding, congratulations to the host for acquiring the skill, Warning Mines. Ding, congratulations to the host for acquiring the skill, Beast Trap. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting the equipment and breaking the army. Ding, congratulations to the host for getting the consumables, the big medicine box. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining a special item and expanding the system backpack space. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining a special item and skill enhancement points 3. The lottery is over. Wong Kai couldn't help but twitch his eyelids. It's really an intermediate lottery roulette. And it seems that the number of thank you for patronage will be less. Hellfire's son Wukong. It is said that the Monkey King, who has the power of heaven, was trapped in hell for 500 years because of causing trouble in the 3 realms. For 500 years, I have been shackled and scorched by flames, unable to escape. But he survived in purgatory with his tenacious obsession, swallowed the evil power that tried to destroy himself, and finally broke free from the shackles. This experience card perfectly solves the problem of Wong Kai making too much noise when he moves. Worry-free warrior Zhu Baji. They look like a bunch of fools. In fact, he is a ruthless person who will go crazy if he doesn't have anything to eat. Taking a 9-tooth rake from the Tower of the Sun to the city where the gods live, it shows that the strength is extraordinary. This experience card can be kept at the bottom of the box. Warning Mine. A mechanism-type mine that will explode when an enemy steps on it. Cooldown time 8 seconds. Beast Trap. An explosion trap in the style of a meteor hammer. It will become invisible if it is not detonated after being released. 1 is stored every 12 seconds. 2 trap skills, of limited use. Breaking the army. Greatly increases the attack power, and will add more damage when the local blood is left. The 3-piece set of Endless, Grandmaster and Pojun is finally complete. Coupled with the skill enhancement points to upgrade the Immortal Demon body to level 26, I think I should be able to cut the 100-meter high Stark building in 2. You can never have too few big medicine boxes. After all, the small medicine bottle can be used even if you are healthy. This can be energizing. The system space backpack is already 32 cubic meters. I can put down more things. Wong Kai was very satisfied after reading all the lottery contents. I am more determined to go to Asgard and borrow things from Odin. With 3 trump cards, you can beat me. I punched Asgard to pieces on the spot. Switch back to the most commonly used natal hero template. Just as Wong Kai came back to his senses, he suddenly heard a roar. Give me back my hammer. Thor was angry when he saw the destroyer armor disappeared. Looking at Gugu who looked leisurely again, he rushed over angrily. As a result, naturally, as soon as she got close, she was trapped by Luna's portal. Thor also experienced the feeling of Loki falling infinitely. Keep shuttling between the 2 portals. At this time, he was rude to Luna. Mortal, put me down quickly. It's Thor you've pissed off. Wong Kai's face darkened immediately when he saw this. In fact, the change was not that big, and he still seemed to be so annoying. Step hard with your feet to explode with power. Like a cannonball exploding. Wong Kai instantly turned into a bolt of lightning and kicked the falling Thor. Boom, hit right in the chest. Thor instantly felt like he was hit by a high-speed train. Flying hundreds of meters away with a whooshing sound. After falling on the wasteland, it bounced a few times. Finally he stopped in disgrace. I think it is necessary for me to teach you what politeness means on behalf of the God King. Wong Kai followed closely behind. Thor, who was about to stand up, kicked into the ground again. Boom, shock waves spread out in all directions, stirring up gray smoke in the sky. The ground shook and the sound spread all around. Wong Kai stepped on Thor and looked indifferent. The cyan magic blade condensed in his hand pointed at Thor's nose and asked. Respect, humility, and reason. Which lesson do you want to start first? Roll. Thor instantly became furious. How could he, who had regained his divine power, endure being insulted like this? Just when I was about to hammer away the Bigfoot that stepped on me. Suddenly I saw an overwhelming golden light filling my entire field of vision. Boom. Wong Kai chopped it down without any hesitation. I only heard a loud sound that penetrated the clouds and cracked the rocks. A huge crack nearly 100 meters long and 2 meters deep was opened in the ground. Everyone in the distance was stunned when they saw this. I even doubt that Thor won't be hacked to death with a knife. But in fact, this knife looks shocking. In fact, it doesn't matter what Thor does. Wong Kai did not use real damage. I didn't want to chop it at the neck either. A knife struck the magic armor of the fairy palace. At most, it only made Thor feel pain. Mortal, what did you say? As soon as Thor jumped out of the crack, he was chopped down by Wong Kai again. Mortal, stop what you do. What did you call me? Boom, there is another big crack in the ground. Where? Boom, boom, boom. Wong Kai slashed 3 times in a row. Think of Thor as a game of whack-a-mole. As long as Thor jumps out of the big crack in the ground, he slashed it down again. Oh dear Odin, who is he? The 3 warriors of Asgard were so shocked that their beards were pulled off. Is this mortal who seems to be stronger than Thor really just a native of the earth? Stop looking and hurry up and save people. Seeing this, Sif anxiously shouted to the 3 of them. Thor is the prince of Asgard and the object of her admiration. How could he allow humans to be humiliated like this? Just took a step. I heard Luna suddenly say, "You'd better not go. Brother Kai has a measured approach. If you go, it will only cause chaos." Really, the distant roar gradually became sparse and disappeared. Thor was a little doubtful about his life when he was hacked by Wong Kai without his beloved hammer. Getting up again and again and being knocked down again and again. I was so frustrated that I almost vomited blood. Finally, I gave in when I felt like my whole body was about to fall apart. That's enough. I apologize to you. Apologize not to me but to Luna. Boom. He slashed Thor into the ground again with one knife. Wong Kai looked at the disgraced Thor crawling out of the gap with an indifferent expression. Then he waved his hand into the distance. Luna immediately knew how to open the portal. Wong Kai picked up the dusty and dirty Thor and returned directly to the crowd. I'm sorry, Miss Luna. I apologize for my rudeness. It doesn't matter, I don't care at all. Luna had a considerate smile on her face. Then he needed secrets and recited a mantra. His hands emitted a golden light and flickered in the air. All the dirt on Thor's body and the dust in his hair fell to the ground. Just like Thor, who has been in the permanent makeup photo for 10,000 years, he reappears. It's just that his face is not very good. Thor, are you okay? Sif immediately stepped forward and asked with concern. Thor shook his head, but he was still sad that he couldn't get his hammer back. The 3 warriors of Immortal Palace looked at Wong Kai with unhappiness. If you don't know that they can't be defeated at all. Otherwise, he will definitely step forward to let Midgard know the consequences of angering the Asgardians. At this time Wong Kai suddenly spoke. We have no interest in your hammer. If you can find a way to take it out without hurting Gugu, we can go to Asgard with you. A word to wake up the dreamer. Thor suddenly remembered that there was something more important than Thor's hammer that he hadn't finished yet. Crap, Loki, Heimdall, take us back quickly. Thor looked up and shouted. But nothing happened. Wong Kai knew that this must be the same as the original plot. The patron god Heimdall was frozen into a popsicle by Loki using Casket of Ancient Winters. He was probably struggling to break free at this time. Luna and I are going to Asgard, what about you? Wong Kai turned his attention to Tony and Rhodes. The latter patted Tony's scrapped steel suit. He definitely can't go like this. We'll stay and take care of things here. Good. Without too much explanation, Luna picked up Gugu. Thor continued to shout. After a while, a familiar vortex appeared in the sky again, and a colorful beam of light fell from the sky. Thor, the 3 warriors of Asgard, and Sif all smiled when they saw this scene. The 5 people strode into the Rainbow Bridge. Wong Kai also held hands with Luna and entered together. Tony and Rhodes watched several people leave. I just feel like I didn't catch anything this time. 7 colors of light flow. Wong Kai only felt that he was in the universe. They were inside a translucent rainbow channel. Then in the blink of an eye, he was transported to Asgard's transmission room by the Rainbow Bridge. Ding! It has been detected that the host is located in the hidden sign in location of Asgard, the divine realm, and the sign-in process has begun. The countdown to check-in is 9 minutes and 59 seconds. As expected, the system prompt sounded. The last time I went to hell, I signed in. This time in Asgard is no exception. Everyone looked around. I saw Heimdall lying exhausted on the central controller. Thor knew immediately that this was Loki's doing. Send him to the medical room quickly. I'm going to find Loki to find out. The 3 warriors of Asgard helped Heimdall up and left. Thor looked at Asgard in the distance and subconsciously opened his palms to turn Thor's hammer and fly him there. But I felt lonely. Do you need help? Wong Kai and Luna asked with a smile. Asgard Rehabilitation Room. Layers of frost suddenly appeared on the golden door. Seeing this, Queen Frigga drew her sword and stood in front of her husband. Bang! Laufey, king of giants of Jotunheim, breaks through. With blue skin and red eyes, he stared at the sleeping Odin behind Frigga. I'm here to take revenge on Odin. Laufey gritted his teeth and said angrily. He cuckolded himself, and then took the born Loki away, hoping to train him into the new king of giants of Jotunheim to rule Jotunheim. Such a grand plan really made him so angry that he vomited blood. You can't get through here. Frigga rushed forward with her sword in hand. But he was easily knocked down by Laufey. The king of giants of Jotunheim condensed an ice dagger in his hand. Come to Odin and pour out your anger in a low voice. I heard that you can still perceive the surroundings in this state. Then I want you to know that your death was given by Laufey, the king of giants of Jotunheim. Laufey raised the dagger and was about to stab him. But suddenly he was hit by an energy cannon. It hit the wall of the treatment room with a bang. Loki appeared wearing golden armor, a golden horned helmet, and holding the eternal spear. It was he who showed up to sneak attack a 1,000-year-old comrade. Laufey was seriously injured and lying weakly on the ground, looking at Loki with eyes full of disbelief. And your death is due to the son of Odin. Loki raised the spear of eternity and aimed it at Laufey. For him, it doesn't matter who his biological father is, but who owns the throne of Asgard is important. The eternal spear fired the energy cannon again, seeing that Laufey was about to die at the hands of his own son. Suddenly a figure appeared in front of Laufey. Bang! The energy cannon of the eternal spear hit Angel's armor, which was dressed in white and had gold trim. There was only a crisp sound from the energy cannon, leaving no trace on the armor. It's you. Loki's expression changed, just when he was about to shout to the guards to come and catch Wong Kai. Suddenly I heard a roar from far away. Rocky. Thor rushed from the door. A flying shoulder strike hit Loki fiercely. Bang. Not a phantom, but a reality. Loki and Thor both rolled to the floor. The two of them were wrestling with each other like children. Thor, stop fighting. What happened? Queen Frigga looked at the chaotic scene extremely anxious. Just when I was about to go up and separate the two of them, Sif came in from outside the door and explained to Frigga. Is brother Kai Asgard so rich? There's gold everywhere. Luna held Gugu and walked up to Wong Kai and asked with a look of amazement. There was no place in the entire immortal palace that was not decorated with gold, which was really an eye-opener for her. Of course, this is God's domain. Wong Kai cancelled the immortal demon body and smiled slightly. Back then, God King Odin conquered the 9 realms. Countless treasures were plundered. Only the most useless gold will be cast into doors or gold bricks for decoration. The treasures in Odin's treasure house are the real good things. At this time, fights, explanations. After a period of rest, Laufey's injury gradually improved. Seeing such a chaotic scene, it is natural to want to run away immediately. But I stood up with strength. Then Wong Kai pressed the magic blade against his chest. Want to escape? I have something else to ask you. Just when he was about to ask about the natural space passage connecting Jotunheim to the Earth to sign in, the quiet Gugu suddenly opened his mouth wide. The pink tentacles like octopus legs appeared again. In an instant, Laufey was entangled and swallowed in one gulp. Element devouring beast. Queen Frigga looked full of surprise as she watched Laufey being swallowed. She had always wanted to keep an element devouring beast as a pet, but she didn't expect to see it here. It was also at this time. The fight between Thor and Loki finally separated. Loki picked up the eternal spear and created countless phantoms to escape. But the real body suddenly stepped on the air. His body became unstable and he fell into the portal on the ground. Is this the number 1 mage in the 9 realms? Wong Kai glanced at Loki with disdain. Let him fall freely for 30 minutes first. The hanging ring on Luna's hand immediately caught Frigga's attention. Then, without waiting for her to ask, an extremely majestic voice suddenly sounded. Child, what is the relationship between the Supreme Mage and you? Odin suddenly sat up at some point. His face was as calm as water. The eyes are deep and dark. Although he was just sitting there, he gave off an aura of looking down on the world. It gave people a strong sense of oppression. Lord of the Nine Realms. The King of Asgard, Odin, King of the Gods. Luna's astonishing magical talent can be seen with just one glance, coupled with the hanging ring in her hand. It definitely had something to do with the Sorcerer Supreme in Midgard, the only place he didn't conquer. Odin, Father, God King, Frigga, Thor, and Sif were all excited to see Odin wake up. But Wong Kai's heart skipped a beat. It feels like something bad is going to happen. Child, I'm asking you something. Odin showed a kind smile. The previous sense of oppression suddenly disappeared. The Master Supreme is my master. Luna replied in a low voice. Odin smiled even brighter after hearing this. Good, very good. Thor, I remember you said that if you want to marry this girl as your wife, my father will make the decision for you. As soon as he finished speaking, Wong Kai's face turned cold to freezing point. In an instant, he thought of Odin's good plan. Although Asgard rules the 9 realms as a divine realm, but the water in these 9 realms is very large. Whether it's Jotunheim, the hometown of the giants of Jotunheim, or Muspelheim, where the flame giant lives, even Midgard, the earth, is not within its jurisdiction. So in order to confirm his identity as the Lord of the 9 realms, Odin, then he came up with the plan to let Loki become the king of Jotunheim. It's the same thing now. If the future supreme mage becomes one of his own, it will be much easier to bring the earth under his rule. God King, it's inappropriate to do this. Wong Kai said coldly, eyes narrowed and staring at Odin. I already hold the Hellfire experience card tightly in my hands. I knew this trip wouldn't be so smooth, but I didn't expect that the problem would appear here. Does this have anything to do with you, mortal? Odin asked with a smile. After getting off the bed, my body glowed with golden light. The whole body armor gradually emerged. Then he held it empty-handed with one hand. A space crack appeared in front of us. The spear of eternity shot out from inside. With a whoosh, it returned to Odin's hand. In an instant, the God King who conquered the 9 realms is back. The vast momentum was as heavy as the Milky Way, pressing directly towards Wong Kai. She and I are together every day. Do you think this has anything to do with me? The whole body also glows with golden light. The immortal demonic body is activated again. Wong Kai faced the pressure from the God King without any retreat, but sarcasm with cold words. And I want to remind you that mortals just pressed gods to the ground and rubbed them. As soon as these words came out, everyone can smell the smell of gunpowder. Odin's expression changed instantly. After taking a look at Thor, who was disappointed. Raise the spear of eternity and strike it in front of you. A space crack appeared again. Odin holds his left hand empty. In less than a moment, an afterimage flew out of the space crack at high speed. It's Thor's hammer. Throw it directly to Thor, who is stunned on the spot. Odin suggested arrogantly, you have another fight with Thor, and the winner can get her. Fart NM. Wong Kai roared directly, turn on all the buffs to explode with the strongest power. One strike struck Odin. Be bold. The eternal spear instantly fires a laser that is more than 10 times stronger than when Loki used it. In an instant, Wong Kai's strongest sword was destroyed. Then he rushed towards Wong Kai with the momentum of killing everything. Boom! A big hole was instantly opened in the wall of the Immortal Palace. A destructive laser that was more than 2 meters thick shot out from it. It lit up almost all of Asgard, and Wong Kai felt that he should have been hit by the launch vehicle. Even the angel armor on his body has cracks. This is the first time that the immortal demon body has been damaged. And there was only a clicking sound. There are more and more cracks in the armor. Then with a bang, everything shattered. Then it actively turned into a ball of golden light particles and dispersed into the body. Ding! Damage to the skin of the Dawn Guardian has been detected. The host can spend 5,000 check-in points to repair it or wait for its natural repair. How long does it take to heal naturally? 500 days. Wong Kai's face suddenly became extremely gloomy. Odin not only robbed others, but also sealed his skin. Hellfire Sun Wukong experience card immediately appears in your hand. Wong Kai crushed it without any hesitation. Asgard was completely illuminated by a ball of fiery red light in an instant. Like a newborn sun. Asgard Rehabilitation Room. Luna stood at the blasted gap and looked at the fire in the distance. Turning around and looking back at Odin and the others, he smiled. You are in big trouble. Then he jumped down with Gugu in his arms. But Odin had already made up his mind, so why would he let it go so easily? In the blink of an eye, he appeared behind Luna and grabbed her. But just after touching Luna's shoulder, he was bounced away by a sudden golden light. The illusory golden rune cube appeared again. Another protective spell set by the Ancient One mage. Luna jumped off successfully. Then a golden portal appeared and swallowed her up. For a while, no one knew where Luna went. And Odin's face was as sinking as water. It only took a test to know that this was a signal left specifically for him by Ancient One. She refused this marriage. The distant sky, the fiery red light that illuminated the entire Asgard has gradually been withdrawn. A golden red figure gradually appeared in the firelight. A strong body made of solid black lava. The blazing flames that consume everything boil above our heads. The arrogant golden light on the unruly face is particularly fascinating. Holding the Rui golden cudgel in hand, stand in the air with your feet on the flames. Odin. Wong Kai saw the target in the immortal palace in the distance at a glance. Hold the Rui golden cudgel in your hand and rotate it twice. A step of your foot is like triggering an explosion. The flames spread out instantly like fireworks. The unruly figure turned into a golden light and flew towards the fairy palace in an instant. Father, let me go. Thor saw this and flew straight into the fire, swinging his hammer. This is not a joke for Odin. I just want to regain my face. After all, he was so hacked by Wong Kai that he doubted his life. Now that the beloved hammer is back, how can he not avenge his shame? Boom! A dozen extremely thick lightning flashes on Thor's hammer. The two met in the blink of an eye. Thor raised Thor's hammer high and was about to attack. But suddenly he saw a wall, hitting him faster than him. Boom! The shining thunder was instantly extinguished. The deafening bombardment resounded through the sky. Thor turned into a meteor and went straight into the underground of Asgard. I feel like all the bones in my body are falling apart. Only then did he see in the deep underground pit that the wall that attacked him was not a wall, but a golden stick, a huge thing that was so thick that it covered the entire field of vision. Thor. Frigga's heart jumped into her throat when she saw her son being knocked out with a single blow. Sif even turned around and went to save people. Odin opened his eyes slightly when he saw this. The power of this blow is already comparable to his. What happened to this young man just now? He withstood the attack of the eternal spear head-on and did not die. It actually became stronger. However, God's majesty cannot be challenged by mortals. Odin stepped forward. In the blink of an eye, he arrived in front of Wong Kai. The spear of eternity points directly to the forehead. Just take one step closer and you can poke a hole in your forehead. But Wong Kai did not hide or avoid it. He also aimed the Rui golden cudgel at Odin's blind eye and poked it. Ding! The spear of eternity reaches the forehead first. But it seems to be lit on a mass of water. Transparent ripples appeared all over Wong Kai's body. Easily block the thrust of the eternal spear, which is said to be able to penetrate anything. Protective spell. Odin's expression suddenly changed. I was about to teleport away, but the Rui golden cudgel's attack had already arrived. The tip of the rod pierced Odin's blind eye hard. In an instant, there was an explosion like a meteorite falling to the ground. The roar of piercing clouds and cracking rocks spread throughout Asgard. Odin flew towards the fairy palace behind him at the speed of light. Then it actually smashed through the splendid wall outside. There was a loud bang and disappeared into the immortal palace. It seems like a critical hit. Wong Kai grinned ferociously. The endless Grandmaster Po Jun is also a monkey's magic weapon. I didn't expect it to be so powerful when used together. Just one poke knocked the father of the gods away. I feel like I can go to hell to settle the score with Mephisto right now. Just when Wong Kai was thinking wildly, a little golden light in his eyes suddenly enlarged. At first it was just a needle-like file size, followed by table tennis file size. The next moment it was like a washbasin. When it arrived in front of Wong Kai, it had become no different from a train tunnel, completely occupying the entire field of vision. Don't rely on quality, rely on quantity. Wong Kai mocked in his heart. If this was a laser as small as a beam of light, he would be more careful. But looking tight like this is just bluffing. Step on the flames and rush directly towards the laser. The powerful attack power that can destroy the immortal demonic body is like scratching an itch when faced with the indestructible body of Vajra. Wang Kai placed the Rui golden cudgel in front of him. Like a sharp needle, then start the acceleration 6 consecutive rounds. The destructive laser instantly turned into a beam of red light and pierced into the fairy palace. Ding! The eternal spear collides with the Rui golden cudgel. Like the tip of a needle against the awn of wheat. The vibrating sound of metal collision instantly spread throughout the immortal palace. Countless immortal soldiers immediately covered their ears. But I still feel that dizzying sound lingering. Wang Kai turned to look at Odin, who was wrestling with him holding the eternal spear. The golden eyes are empty of everything. Grinning, revealing 2 canine teeth. Holding the Rui golden cudgel with both hands, he shouted. Long. In an instant, the Rui golden cudgel suddenly stretched. Stab Odin directly into the wall behind him. Boom boom boom. For a while, there was a continuous sound of breaking the wall. Until there is no obstacle to the Rui golden cudgel. Completely penetrate the fairy palace. And Odin was also expelled out. The emperor takes turns and comes to my house this year. In this situation, Wang Kai suddenly thought of this sentence. It's just that he has no interest in Asgard, the king of Asgard. Take back the Rui golden cudgel and fly out of the splendid immortal palace. Wang Kai came to the sky above Odin again. The golden cudgel in his hand suddenly turned into a giant pillar that could be embraced by one person. Then he inserted it straight in. Boom, like punching through the ground. When the golden cudgel was smashed down, red lava was drawn out. And the earthquake caused several surrounding houses to collapse in an instant. The hot lava flows out. Some buildings were set on fire. Let the people of Asgard below flee in panic for a while. When Odin saw this, he immediately roared. That's enough. Stop fighting. After a brief confrontation, Odin already knew that Wang Kai's current strength was by no means inferior to his. Continuing to fight will only harm the people of Asgard. This is unacceptable as a king. However, Wang Kai didn't want to stop there. If you don't beat Odin, you will have a long memory. What should I do if I do this again next time? Holding the golden cudgel tightly in his hand, he roared. Big. One end of the golden cudgel instantly became as thick as a pillar of heaven. Wang Kai hit Odin again. This time I will make it impossible for you to avoid it. Dare to escape, then let the bottom be raised to the ground. Seeing this scene, Odin naturally knew Wang Kai's plan. But the weakest thing about such a conspiracy is that you have to catch it first. Only then can we think of a way to crack it. Odin had no choice but to rise into the sky. Raise your hands high and put them directly on top. Boom! A ring of golden light spreads out from the ground of the golden cudgel. It's not like Thor was knocked into the ground with a stick. After all, Odin is also the king of the gods. He withstood Wang Kai's blow in the air. It's just getting closer and closer to the ground. Even if the strength is almost the same. But location is enough to determine success or failure. At this time, Wang Kai suddenly saw a very familiar feeling coming from the distance. As soon as my heart moved, I immediately put away the huge amounts of golden hoops. Then start the acceleration 6 times again. Use protective spells at the same time. The whole person turned into a golden light and came to Odin in an instant. Explode all your power, plus all the gains after practical skills. It was like a spark hitting the earth and hitting the eternal spear hard. Boom, click, the eternal spear broke with a sound. Odin's one eye turned red when he saw it. This is a weapon that has accompanied him in countless battles. It was actually broken by Wang Kai's stick. Court death. Odin roared and rushed towards Wang Kai. But suddenly I heard a sigh. God King, can this matter be over? The Ancient One descended from the sky wearing a beige combat uniform. Eye of Agamotto has been opened. Both hands are wrapped in green circular runes. Wang Kai guessed at a glance that it was a magic spell related to time. Whether it's accelerating time to make Odin age, or create an infinite time loop, the Ancient One will be invincible. Supreme Mage. Odin gritted his teeth and spat out the name Ancient One. It's this trick again. This is how the bald man persuaded himself to leave the earth back then. He refused, and Ancient One spent 3 whole months with him. In the end, when I was really annoyed, I listed the earth as the autonomous land of the Supreme Mage, and promised not to disturb it. Now this guy actually comes to your door. Don't you only protect the earth? Why did you come to Asgard? Odin asked angrily. The future has changed. Protecting these two children is protecting everything. Ancient One smiled plainly, but the runes in his hands showed no intention of stopping. At this time, a portal suddenly appeared next to Wang Kai. Luna flew out from inside and pounced directly on Wang Kai. Don't, I'll burn you. As soon as she finished speaking, Luna was already clinging to her body. Thank you, Brother Kai, you look so warm. Ding, congratulations to the host for successfully signing in at the hidden sign-in location, Asgard, and gaining 1000 sign-in points. The system prompt sounded in my mind. Only then did Wang Kai realize that it had only been 10 minutes since they arrived in Asgard. Won't I burn you? Wang Kai asked worriedly. Luna smiled happily. No, I just feel warm. That's good. Wang Kai also laughed immediately, holding Luna in her arms with both hands, but he felt something pressing against his chest. Let go and look down. The result is just coup. The development is worrying, Luna. Just when Wang Kai was complaining in his heart, the King of All and the Supreme Mage refused to give in to each other. This kid interrupted my eternal spear. Do you think this matter can be ended easily? If the God King doesn't want it to end, does he want Asgard to be ruined? Ancient One keeps smiling, but it suddenly spoke to Odin's heart. Wang Kai plays in an away game without any scruples. But he was timid. Continuing to fight Asgard will definitely cause greater casualties. And he also has a trump card, which can be compared to Searcher after using it. The God King probably doesn't want to see this scene. Odin's pupils suddenly shrank. Searcher, Ragnarok. The end of Asgard. This young man actually has such a trump card. In human terms, he is still less than 20 years old. How could it be so outrageous? Let's look at our two sons who are 1,500 years old. It feels even more outrageous. Wang Kai saw that Ancient One had already told Pengu's story and didn't hide it anymore. He said coldly to Odin directly, yes, I can destroy the trump card of the continent of Asgard with one punch. The reason why we don't use it is because we don't want to kill so many people. If you are wise, apologize to Luna. Don't think that because you are a god, I won't dare to hit you. As soon as Wang Kai finished speaking, Odin's eyelids suddenly jumped. The broken eternal spear was held tightly in both hands, wishing to poke 100 transparent holes in this kid's body. Then tear his mouth apart. HMPH. Gods will never apologize to mortals. Odin turned and left directly. How could the King of Gods apologize to a little girl? God also wants to save face. But Wang Kai sneered when he saw this. Does the God King not care about the life and death of the people of Asgard? The Rui golden cudgel in my hand became extremely huge again. Right on top of a crowd of panicked civilians. The suffocation feeling like the falling sky made countless Asgardian civilians collapse on the ground. Looking up at this terrifying shadow, endless fear arose. Odin became even more angry when he saw this. He stepped forward and pointed at Wang Kai's nose and roared. Boy, what do you want? Wang Kai replied coldly. It's simple, apologize to Luna. Who do you think you are to make the decision for her, and then treat her as a bet? I tell you, this won't work even if the King of Heaven comes. So apologize to her quickly. Odin narrowed one eye. Bury all the anger deep in your heart. Then he said in a deep voice word by word. This, absolutely, is impossible. The two sides became angry again and almost wanted to fight again. At this time, Ancient One suggested, why don't we each give in? I heard that the God King's treasure house contains many treasures. How about letting Luna choose one as an apology? After Wang Kai heard this, his heart suddenly moved. You really know everything. Ancient One even knew exactly where the things he wanted to borrow were. Okay, but in order to avoid shoddy goods, I need to accompany you during the selection. Seeing Wang Kai agree, Ancient One immediately turned to look at Odin. What does the God King mean? This is already the best solution. Odin was silent for a moment. After taking a deep look at Wang Kai, he was imprinted in the deepest part of my mind. Then he agreed. 4 people and 1 cat returned to the ground. Frigga and others immediately came together. After hearing Odin's decision, I felt angry and relieved. Everyone has different thoughts, but they all respect Odin's decision. So under the leadership of Queen Frigga, leaving Gugu in the care of the Ancient One, Wong Kai and Luna came to Odin's treasure house. Once the dazzling golden door is opened, I saw mountains of various gold and silver jewelry and decorations. These were all collected by Odin during his campaign in the 9 realms. Although each one is very rare and dazzling, but it's not Wong Kai's cup of tea. Frigga naturally knew that these things could not enter Wong Kai's eyes. He took them directly to the most heavily guarded treasure house. Originally, there was destroyer armor guarding here. It is difficult for anyone to enter. But now there is only a name left. This is it. Wong Kai saw what he wanted at a glance. Infinity Gauntlet. At this time, it is placed on the exhibition stand just like ordinary decorations. This is just the golden right hand. Thanos' golden left hand is just that. It's studded with fake infinity stones. No wonder the goddess of death complained that this was a fake in Thor 3. After all, the infinity stones are the most important thing. Odin inlaid 6 colored glasses for good looks. What is the difference between this and self-deception? You actually know this. Frigga was shocked when she saw Wong Kai snatching the Infinity Gauntlet. It's like I remembered something bad. Of course I know, this thing can perfectly use the power of each infinite stone, which is of great use to me. Wong Kai smiled slightly, snapped off the upper glass and put it directly into the system backpack. And Frigga sighed, just because of the infinite stones. Only the eldest daughter Hela will take a different path from Odin. Back then, Odin conquered the 9 realms and caused countless murders. As a result, Hela has an extreme personality and takes the wrong approach. At the same time, she also received the title of Goddess of Death, which means bringing death to all enemies. But later, in order to conquer more effectively, Odin. So I went to look for the Infinity Stones, trying to use the power of the 6 Infinity Stones to conquer every inch of land and every life in the universe. But when he found the location of the Soul Stone, he gave up because he was too soft-hearted to kill Frigga or Hela. So King Odin came online, on the opposite side to Hela, who continues to fight against Odin. In the end Hela had to be sealed. It's hard to say who is right and who is wrong, maybe both are wrong, but the fact has happened and cannot be undone at all. Immortal Palace. Odin regained his authority as the God King and sat high on the throne. The Ancient One bid farewell to Odin on behalf of everyone. At this time Thor suddenly stopped everyone. Wait a minute, let Loki out first. Loki. Everyone in the hall was suddenly stunned. Oops, I seem to have forgotten this unfortunate child. That's right, my Loki. Frigga looked at Luna quickly. Luna immediately opened the portal sheepishly. No shouting. Loki fell straight out of the portal. It hit the ground with a loud thud, as if it flattened the entire face. Frigga felt sorry for her son and stepped forward to help Loki up. But I heard Loki shouting with a look of grief and anger, I have been in freefall for 2 hours. No one wants to save me. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.